All right, we'll go ahead and get started. The commission meeting for April 6th, 2026. We'll begin with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so for the quorum, all three commissioners are here. Just for the public, if anyone's interested, I'll be leaving at 8:15. I've got a medical thing I have to go to, so I hate to miss a meeting, but that's where we're at today. So let's go ahead and do the minutes here from the March 16th meeting. Anyone have any changes?
No changes.
I'll move that we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. March 20th meeting minutes. I move that we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. And we have the payroll from the last time period. Anybody have any changes there?
No changes there.
I'll move that we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Everybody have a chance to look at the county treasurer's monthly report.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll make note in the minutes that we've seen that. And we have the first thing on the agenda was the courthouse use agreement for the Strawson Fest. We've been presented with a list of the items they are requesting. They also provided a signed policy for courthouse building use, which we have. I'm going to make a motion that we approve the permission sought by the Strawson Fest committee.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. I did have a few questions that I hit the auditor's office up about on the
They're looking at.
claims, but yeah, I know I do it last minute, so I'm sure they're gonna be fine. Whatever it is, I'll look into it after the meeting. Do either of you have any problems with the claims as they're presented? I'll move that we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, so the thing I wanted to do now that we have opening, since we got the Strawson Fest part taken care of soon, we've had letters to the editor, and we've had people in person, and we've had emails and calls and things about the solar project, and especially the Crossvine project. And so I think a couple of the people may even be in the room from the beginning of March. They've sent emails asking questions, and the main thing that we keep hearing is that the project is not within the original confines of what they said that they were going to do, and that we should revoke their permit. And I just wanted to, this is like, I've had 23 different points. I'm probably not going to read all of them, but I'm going to read the most, the ones I think will be most germane to the subject. So I'm just going to read through some of these, and this is what I've got. So this is for the benefit, hopefully, of the commissioners and for the public. So the request has been for us to review permit number 2024-02 for the AES project. We've stated by some that the current scope and design has significantly changed and warrants a reevaluation by DuBois County. The changes are also being reevaluated by the IURC and others, but from my research, I see no evidence that the project is outside of anything that the county has permitted. The project is staying within the original site boundary. The overall footprint actually has been reduced, and the areas that they are impacting, they're following the site plan closely on that. They're following, as far as everything we've seen so far, they're following all the permitted setbacks. To ensure continued compliance, I requested county staff to make spot checks at the Crossvine and the Duff locations, and the highway people and ourselves. We're going to continue to look at that, and we'll report back on that in the future to see if anything has changed. The DuBois, just as a note, DuBois County has statutory permitting authority for commercial solar, but statutorily, we don't have authority over the BESS. If we did have zoning, then we could apply our local zoning rules to that like we could any other commercial or residential project. The Indiana Office of Energy Development and the Indiana Department of Homeland Security must improve installation or expansion. So if there is any expansion, it would have to be approved by the two of those entities. Operators of systems must provide responding fire departments copies of emergency response plans and offer annual training, and they require compliance with NFPA 855. And I think somebody requested a copy of the NFPA. I think he's in the room, and I requested that from the solar company. I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and I think he didn't get it for me, and I hit him up again, and he still promises me he's going to give me a copy of it, so I'm going to get a copy of that and make that available to the commissioners and to the public. And the NFPA, I guess, is the National Fire Protection Act, and that's the rules that they're under. The VESS that I've looked at, another thing that I keep hearing about is that they're unsafe and they are prone to thermal runaway. And what I found here from a couple of different organizations, the Energy Information Administration Electric Power Research Institute, the data shows that the failure rate is approximately 0.32%. I spoke with Jeff Cummins, who's a representative with the Crossline folks on 317 and 318. And one of the concerns was about the project being overbuilt or overbuilding. And so what he kind of explained to me is that everything that they're doing is within the, everything is going to be within the same footprint, and they must remain at the 85 megawatt. The modules that they're putting in are going to stay at that same amount. They will have 92 units that are operational, but the issue is they're going to be, those 92 units, I think one of the questions was those 92 units are capable of doing more. They could have more output than what they are, but what they're doing is they only utilize them at a lower amount, and that increases the life of those batteries. So the way he put it, they'll be storing at a lesser capacity as that strengthens battery life, and it helps keep the flow consistent and reliable. Prior to going live, Homeland Security, because some people said too, well, who's going to check this out before they go live? And Homeland Security does do a final check. And the question was, why did Homeland Security ask them to resubmit? Was there people were asking if there was a significant change or what the problem was. And one of the thing that I found was AES refiled with Homeland Security when they changed battery types. Mm-hmm. So initially they were using Tesla batteries, mm-hmm. and they've changed to Fluence batteries, and that's a change that they had to report. The DHS permit allows up to 100 megawatts, as does our county permit actually, 2024-02, but the project will actually be the 85 megawatts for the life of the project. And the question was, who oversees that they're staying at the 85 megawatts? Well, the RC, MISO, that's the power people that get, they're both going to be watching that. And AES has annual filings that will show that. And if anything changes, they are going to be accountable to tell Homeland Security. And I'm sorry if this is boring or too much to you, but what I'm trying to do is just over the last month, if somebody's asked me a question, I've tried to look into it. Okay, so this one is one that I thought was interesting. I'm happy to, I think Randy asked about this. So Indiana Senate Enrolled Act 390, it was enacted in 23. says, once a community is certified, it is eligible to receive incentive funds from the OED as authorized by law. And should incentive funds become available and have a sufficient balance, that's how the law is written. They may be granted for a period of 10 years at $1 per megawatt. So I dug into that one too, and it's like, okay, well, if they're producing, then we should get something. That's something that why we wanted to get in. That's why we adopted rules early. So they basically created something saying there's an incentive, and then they didn't fund it. So there are no incentive funds available, and that's on their website as of last week. That you're eligible for that money, but there's no money to give you. That's what it says. The road use agreement, I reviewed that from 2024, and I asked the highway department also if they felt that the companies were doing what they should, and asked them to confirm if the road bonds were in place and appropriate, and it seems like everything is in place and how it should be with that. So March 25th, I read House Enrolled Act 1173, which is a 2023 law. It states the authority having jurisdiction over utility scale BESS is the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. Prior to that law, there were no safety regulations for these kinds of battery storage systems. The law adopted the National Fire Protection Act safety standards and made the Indiana Department of Homeland Security the permitting authority for new construction or expansion of battery energy storage systems. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the law does not preempt a local unit from using otherwise allowable zoning. So if we put zoning into place in the future, again, we could have appropriate setback or, whatever we determine would be the right rules for us there. This is an important one, bonding. I checked our bonding again. Bonding is in place for approximately $3.5 million with the county for both solar projects during construction to protect county assets such as the roads. Highway and deputies continue to conduct site visits and monitoring. Any safety concerns we've had so far have been investigated and followed up. The main company, they feel like they've had, I feel like they've made good faith efforts to keep up with the contractors, but they still aren't doing what they're supposed to. So I contacted my guy there again, and I said, we're still getting complaints on this. And again, I don't know. He said that that's unacceptable, and I don't know what they're going to do about it. But I think Commissioner Hospital, you've also reached out to the Sheriff's Department to help with that area. I have some information here about taxes, but that's not critical for today. I did read the petition to the IURC from January 8th, the semi-annual progress report. It says that they're on track to achieve commercial operation June of 2027, and it's going to be 85 megawatts solar, 85 megawatts BESS. A citizen recently commented about the county rapidly approving this project without transparency, safety review, or meaningful input. But the fact is the county has been discussing solar in public meetings for about 4 years, with each discussion on our agenda and each decision made in a public meeting. County Commission and Council both made it a recurring part of every meeting to allow public comment, and the Board of Commissioners, to my knowledge, never stated support or opposition necessarily to the solar projects. The permits state that the applicant met the rules that are in place. That's about the extent of that. And this is my last note, so everybody knows. Several requested that we revoke the previously approved permits, and that's not how these things work. And these companies have paid out millions of dollars in lease payments, regulatory activities, planning, construction, and it's for a legally allowable project. And the county does not have the authority to just tell them to stop unless we have cause. So I'm looking because people have had concerns. So I was looking for cause. I haven't found any cause at this point. So I apologize for how lengthy that was, but there's been a lot of people asking questions. So I wanted to do the best I could to try to address some of those at least. So that's that. Any comments from the two of you?
No.
All right, so. So I'm just working on all the different things that I'm supporting. And I'm supporting everything that's going on. US Thanksgiving out of it, so if they want to know.
You missed some signs already. Do you want me to wait or do you want me to? I just another day.
That's fine. I'm submitting that for payment. It's all yours.
All right, lucky me. Okay,
Be careful.
Thank you.
next item on our agenda, Jan Danu, chip seal, County Road 760 East.
Yes.
He and then you, I saw where they had that.
Oh, okay.
The J.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So basically, we came in, and behind me is a bunch of landowners and residents that live on this road. I believe you guys may have discussed this already, at least that's what I was told, but we were not aware of that. The county engineer, I called him in November, and that's why I'm here. He told me to schedule this and talk to you guys about it. But he claims that he did come in here and bring it up, but the subject is County Road 760 East. I do have a map of it, can I?
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know who all.
If you want to leave one for Chad as well.
Okay.
All three of them. Unless Sandy would like one. Sandy, would you like one?
Yeah.
Yep. So were you the one I talked to? I talked to, I can't remember who I called to schedule this.
You called my office, but
Okay.
you mean per se, one of my deputies.
Okay. All right, so basically the situation is, in 2015, my family built on the family farm there, and during that situation, or during that time, I drove the road with Steve Berg, who was the county engineer back then, and he told me to go get with Art Nordoff and go through the paperwork, so I did that. And then we have everybody who basically signed the right-of-way easement. Sorry, here. There's 12 different landowners associated with this. 11 of them have signed, okay? And I have that written on the top of that too. This is a bus route. Actually, our bus driver came to represent as well, and the landowners and residents. But 11 of the 12 have signed this right-of-way easement. There's one property owner on the south end who owns about 300 yards of the road who hasn't signed. And from our understanding, that is why it's being held up, not being approved to be on the list to chip and seal. So we're kind of asking basically because you could come in the north side and we could chip and seal this whole road from the north end, which would have less work to do because it's wide enough and there's not any fences on the north side. So it's approximately 1.5 miles. And that's kind of what we would like to talk about today and just get it awareness of. There are more people willing and wanting to build on this road, which would obviously help our community and everything else. So I do have the paperwork here for the right of way, and it is all filled out besides the one individual who doesn't live on the south end, but owns about approximately 300 yards of the south end of the road. This road is in 2 different townships, and it's actually chip and sealed on the north end, which is Columbia Township. It stops right on Lion Hall.
Okay. Did our county engineer explain our evaluation system to you? We use an evaluation process. It's a scoring process. Roads get ranked each and every year. They get re-ranked each and every year, and whoever's at the top of that list, whatever road that is, that's the road we pave each year. We put forth, is that 125 or 150? $125,000 a year in our chip seal upgrade system. And then we do that number one road, as much as we can of it at least. In that evaluation process, that right of way is one of the scoring things. If you don't have all the right of way, it kicks you out. That is just something that we require. We have to have all that right of way, or you will not be processed up to that number one or evaluated up to that number one.
So I guess that's where we're having a hard time with that, right? So we've been there 10 years, more people are building on it. Everybody's signed besides one individual. There has to be another way. Like in my mind, we're gonna hold this whole project up to better the county, to better the road, better everything because of 300 yards. That's where we're at.
Well, we can't pave the whole road except for 300 yards. And the right of way is a requirement in that process.
So that's where we have a hard time with that, right? Because it is paved.
And I don't know why
It's
a portion
not,
of it
like-
was paved.
So what I'm looking for is an option B. What is it? Like, everybody keeps telling me what you're telling me, but there's gotta be another way. Because it already is chip and sealed, we'll say a quarter of it is chip and sealed and stops right at township. And what we're needing is just to go, actually, probably not even another mile. We don't even need to go all the way to the end of the road. We're looking for one way out.
Yeah, that's the rule. That's what we follow. Every other road that we do and evaluate, it's the same process. We think it's fair because everyone has to do the same thing. We're not asking more of you than anyone else. So that's just how we do it. If we don't have that right away, we're gonna create a dangerous situation where, we snake down that road in that one area where it's not as wide, or that one area where it's got rock instead of chip seal. It's just not a good process.
So you guys are gonna hold this up. You're gonna hold
Well,
it.
I don't know where you
because
score on the evaluation anyways.
Well, how do we find that out? That's where
I was very
we're here to get answers, so.
So highway department went out to the road and evaluated it to score it. Typically, we would not score the road unless there's right of way already obtained, but we went in and scored it just to see where it would fall. Got a score of a 90.
That's 90.
We've got, overall, the road does not score very high based on the scoring system. Scoring system is going to go off of the cost of the conversion, homes per mile, businesses per mile, traffic count, classification of the road, proximity to a state road, and then contribution of funding by property owners also weighs into that. So, like I said, the preliminary scoring was a 90. I know we've got some others that are on the list right now to be chip sealed, some gravel roads that have obtained right of way. Do you know how many we have on that list right now that are waiting?
Let's see. This year is 650 south. Next year is 900 east. The following is Kingsridge Road, and then 625 west is so that's in 2029. I think.
Do you know what the lowest scored one is right now on the list?
I think it's the two lowest ones is a 50 and an 80, 50 and an 80, and then the top three are 130, 115, and a 95.
So I think right now the ones over the next 4 years would score higher than this one as well. So if right away were obtained, let's say tomorrow, it would still be several years out before it could get chip sealed. But obtaining it right away is an important thing for the county. There's the policy in place that Nick stated, policy number 0603-19 that was put in back in 2019. stating that the 60-foot right-of-way must be obtained from intersection to intersection. And wanted to know the main reason for doing that is allows us to widen the road to make it safe as well. I took a couple measurements on that section of roadway along the road front, the residential sign, which is about 0.23 miles. It's about 400 yards or so. And one area measured at 15 feet and the other area measured at 17 foot wide. If we convert that to a chip seal, we have to widen everything 20 foot minimum, preferably 22 feet. And that gets into a snowball where you're widening your ditches, you're sloping your maintenance back, you're putting longer pipes in. So one, it wouldn't be a good idea to take a 20-foot wide chip seal road and then just transition straight to a 15 to 17 foot wide gravel road. Creates a safety concern, and also you're not following the policy here. So
No, I do understand that. I know what you're talking about, and that's where, like, I think we're here thinking like you're gonna hold the whole project up. You call 400 yards, 300 yards, you know. The rest of the road would score a lot higher. Like we both know that. You could probably agree with that because it's wider. There's more residents on the north side. So like, if he doesn't want to move his fence and doesn't sign, for us, that's fine. We just want one way out. That's where the rule's holding us up. Like we could literally make this a nice road and leave that part, that south end, that 300, 400 yards rock road. Everybody would be happy. Everyone. Nobody cares about that south end because the residents just want one way out. And we can drive the north way out because the way this is located, it's in between Du Bois, the town of Du Bois, and Patoka Lake. You can get out. You can go out. The south end goes to 545, and the north end goes to Du Bois Cusco Road. So I did not know about that rule. That seems crazy to me, especially when one landowner can hold up 12 different property owners. That I think should be changed. I think you guys should consider that because there's more people willing to build on this road. There's already 7 residents living on this road who can take the north way out. So we're just looking from Columbia Township where it stops to continue a mile, probably not even, because the whole road's a mile and a half. So we're looking for one way out. We don't need the 300 yards, 400 yards that he's talking about that scores low, because he's right. Like I know he's not wrong about those measurements, but if he measured the whole way, the rest of the way up, that road would score high.
well, the way that scoring works, homes per mile, businesses per mile, adding that 0.23 mile section or removing it isn't going to affect the scoring much because, like you said, it is a relatively short amount over.
But it would affect it, and I believe you guys just told me there was 2 roads going to be chip and sealed that scored lower.
No, there's that are on the list. So
That's perfectly fine. We could stop there. That are on the list. I don't think anybody cares if this road gets paved tomorrow or in 5 years. We've already waited 10 years.
So to explain the evaluation process again, they do it every year. So if you're number 2 on the list this year, that does not mean you're getting your road paved next year. That means next year when it rescores, if it becomes number 1 on the list, that'll be the road we work on. And we rescore them year in and year out. So and you can look at them so you can see if you're close. You can put, homeowners can put money into the project.
That was exactly my next question.
Score a little bit higher. If something changes, say 2 more houses built out there, that might change your score. So there's ways that score can change each year. So the number 5 road this year might jump up to number 1 next year.
But if we don't,
if you don't get the right of way, it won't.
So we either got to change the rule or make an exception to that rule or have this guy sign, which we've been trying for 10 years, right? So there's only, in my mind, we got to wait until he passes because it's not going to happen. Like we sent everybody out. He's one of those stubborn guys. So that's not going to happen. So you're not going to you will not, you're saying you will not look into an exception to your rule.
Not at this time, no.
Is he on?
So then why would we, as residents, bring money to the county for something that's?
Well, in this case, it wouldn't do you any good because it's not gonna score you higher.
The reason they did the first part is because Anthony and Marie Denu had paid for that first part.
Mhm.
That's why they just went so far.
Right,
That was back in 92.
we know that. So why, could we do that?
Because back then, we didn't have all.
But
the
you're
safety
telling us
requirements in
we
place.
can't bring money to the table. That's what you guys just told me, right?
Well,
You can do a co-op.
Yeah.
I mean, we pave roads. If homeowners pay for it, we do the labor portion of it on the county's dime. But we don't make any improvements to the road. We would pave it as it is, correct? Or do we still have to go out to that 20-foot?
we will normally, yes, we still want 20 feet since it's a through road. But yes, if they would, this is how we did it in the past, how Steve did it. He went so far, if they paid for it.
Okay. Does that create a safety issue?
Creates a safety issue where you transition from 20-foot wide chip seal to 15-foot of gravel. And then tie in all your ditches, because we're gonna have to slope everything back. And that's why we got the 60-foot of right of ways. We will actually get into people's property, whether that's taking trees down, fences getting pushed back, whatever may be in our way. That's why we have to have the right of way, because that's the only thing that gives the county the right to go in there and make those improvements to widen the road. So, I mean, my concern would be transitioning from 20-foot wide with water ditches and necking down. There's
a few people in the county, I mean, over on 650 East in Diana. Years ago, they chip sealed it with no right of way. That guy has junk cars right up to the edge. I asked him several times to move it. He's just being hard-headed, probably about like the guy that you're talking about, is hard-headed, just don't want to do nothing.
What's this guy's reasoning for not wanting to sign?
He's only partial landowner too.
Yeah, I was say, don't he have a brother and a
They
sister?
can ask, they're willing to sign it, but he won't let them. He basically like threatened them not to, like, sign it.
I know me and the old engineer and Nick,
Yeah,
we went up and talked to James, and
yeah,
he just,
Because, you know, if it's this fence, you don't want to move this fence. If you guys offered to move this fence.
We've
It's
offered.
already been done.
We've offered, paid for it, moved it, everything.
y'all can pay for it to move it.
Well, I mean, we would just move it. It's just an electric fence with poles.
It's not that, like, there's only one fence on one side of the property. The other side of the property, there's not really.
It's just a field. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
The part that would need his bank taken back is only, I don't know, you can help out 100 meters.
100 yards,
100 meters is the only thing you'd have to touch of his. The other side would be
Rest of it's good.
easily accessible.
But the only question I got is, he said 20 feet minimum, and we got a road there that we just put in probably 3 years ago, our own was theirs. And there's a place where it's only 18 feet wide, there's a place where it's 19 feet wide. Could we just take that 125 yards and keep it 18 feet through there? I mean,
It's from a 90-degree corner to a stop sign, so there's no speed issue going to be there. Because
I'd have to go out and drive it to know it, but I mean, we can't make an exception on
Sure.
that rule. If we do, I mean, it just goes away. There's no point in having it at that point. And it's very important in most cases.
can you not do like the state and just condemn that bank?
We ain't gonna do that.
yeah,
That's the way the state operates, they just condemn it.
But if it were to be chip sealed within the area that you have the right of way, since our policy states gotta have right of way from intersection to intersection, then what we typically done in the past is it's at the property owner's expense for the highway department to come in and chip seal it. Since it didn't follow our policy. And what we've done in the past is we just do the material costs. So the cost of putting in number 2s and 53s to strengthen the base, and then the cost to put in the chip seal, put in the chips and the oil and all that. And we've got all those prices pretty much nailed down on what it costs per mile that would be an option if the safety side.
So how's that worked is, what's the price? Yeah, like you guys got to go out and quote it, do you like?
We got it broke down, we got all the quantities, estimation sheets wrote up. I mean, we just did one, come in 130,000 something a mile. So we come in at
For what, excuse me?
130 something thousand a mile, and that's for material costs only. That's not county figuring in any labor, any equipment costs. That's not us making a dime on anything. That is just have the material. It's not even covering fuel costs, nothing. That's just the cost of the stone and oil. It's expensive. It's just what things are nowadays.
Yeah.
But if all the right of way's there, then the county pays for all that per policy.
Well, we would get on the list, right, and then it'd go on the points.
It's all the,
And how much, like, let's say we did get on the list, if we did get him to sign, how much does money help?
We can give you a copy of the score sheet. It is there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 different categories that scored. That is one of the 10. So as far as weight, it is it's 20 there. So it's the highest, it's the most weighted. Out of those there, it's the most weighted is the money.
Or
But
if you give
keep
up
in
the-
mind, this doesn't get scored on the list until it gets all the right of way.
Is there any way we can assure him that his 100 yards won't get touched?
Well, we can't without the right of way. I mean, we legally cannot because we
I
don't.
mean, if he would sign, if he would offer to sign it, if we told him that he would not, his side of the road would not get touched in that scenario.
No, because if he signs it, then we would be able to touch it because we'd have that right of way. That's the purpose of having the right of way.
Sure, I
Allows us to go in to do that.
And then you want to finish that all the way.
I mean, it's not an idea to just end and have a chip seal go to gravel and not to have a good transition, just because safety and also for us maintaining, we're trying to set up a good foundation long-term that we're trying to get rid of all these little patches of gravel, chip seal, because now we're left dealing with all those. So we're trying to get a good policy in place that over time we'll have roads that are continuous connectivity with all chip seal or all gravel, we'd rather have chip seal though. I mean, we don't like maintaining gravel, but we also have almost we have over 100 miles of gravel in the county. So other property owners are running the same situations where they have the same policy to follow by.
You said, what was that last statement?
We have over 100 miles of gravel road in the county and others on that gravel. If there are others that live on a gravel road, they have the same policy they have to follow by. So we've ran into situations where similar like this here, where 1 or 2 people would not sign and the other property owners were at the mercy of those 1 or 2 people. Sometimes they've given in and have eventually signed and got put on the list. And others, they just won't give up the right of way.
So when was the last time you talked to this, James?
Right, a year ago, probably.
I mean, he's been talked to 5, 6 times in the last 10 years. So,
Would it help if I talked to him or me or Donnie to see?
We can go try it again.
I mean, we're all about getting right. County wants right up there, right? It helps us maintain
Yeah.
roads.
What's the
I don't
main
think I
reason?
would be here if I thought that was an option, honestly. I'm watching, like I have buddies that live in Orange County and Crawford County, and they are chip and sealing roads. They're 10 feet wide.
Yeah,
And
I know.
you smile because you know it.
I know it.
And I live in Du Bois County, and we think that we have the better county, but you guys are telling me we don't. That's what you're sitting here telling me. Because they're paving their roads. So you got nothing to say because you know them right.
Well,
Safety-wise,
I won't ever say it's okay to pave a 10-foot wide road.
Hey.
Pave a road allows for more speed, it creates unsafe
Well,
situations.
You may be right, but
So,
those residents are pretty happy.
All right, Cerise, do you have anything to add?
I don't. I mean, my suggestion is go back and talk to the one person. What is his
I actually
main
thought I was
reason?
coming to talk to reasonable people.
What is his main reason that he is not letting go of that?
Besides being stubborn, I honestly don't know.
He's got a couple trees in the cow pasture that are junk trees that he doesn't want touched. on the bank.
This-
There's no reason.
This was us,
There's no reason.
this was us being reasonable. This was us coming in here being reasonable.
And I understand that.
Okay.
Can I say one thing? Where would the county road have to stop? You said talk about transitioning in. That's if you go all the way up to his property line, right? To where it's narrow. How far back would it have to stop to where it wouldn't just transition into a 20-foot to a 15-foot wide?
Where it's the same distance wide, but not.
To where it would gradually transition it, but not necessarily chip and seal to rock at 15, but like 20, 15. How far back can it still be rock before it gets to his property?
You'd probably have to have it be some rock within the area there is right away to allow that transition. It'd have to be a natural transition.
Right, but how
That's the
long?
distance, I mean, that's
You'd
gonna
have to
depend
go
on
look at
what's in
it.
the field and what would make the most sense, but
Right.
ideally, it's not something we typically do, from chip seal and gravel like that, so we'd have to look at it and see. The road starts to naturally widen out too, once you get around that curve and head to the west.
Do you think if you guys, like you said, comfortably, kind of propose, say, hey, this is what, we're gonna take this little bit or whatever, and then maybe it ease up and be like, okay, you're not gonna go way up here, you're just gonna,
And we did try to explain to him.
oh, okay.
We could go out there and meet
We'll try
and
it,
tell him, this is what needs to be done, this is how much the slope has to be laid back, these are your trees that would have to come down, or these are trees that could possibly stay. We could go over the work plan that would have to be done if he, in theory, got the right of way. We'd be more than willing to do that and talk him through it, so you knew pretty much exactly how his property would be.
We really need to get moving on to the next agenda item. We're a little over 10 minutes over. If you guys want to talk to these guys about that, I think they're happy to go meet with your gentleman and see if they can.
I don't think you understand, it's fine.
So,
We're not dealing with.
I want to ask a question.
yeah. That's unfortunate.
You know,
I've been hearing that. Did you talk to him, Kevin? Or Mark?
You know what I did? He's one of the guys I looked at. It's last time I saw him in church, he looked at me and he wouldn't shake my hand and he wouldn't just, he wouldn't even look at me.
Guys, I would ask you whether they want you to or not, go out and talk to this gentleman and see if you can get him to budge a little bit.
Find out what his
Hey, I put up 1,000, 1,300 bills a day for him every year. Don't charge him a penny. And he won't even listen to me. I went and talked to his sister. His sister said she'll sign that paper right now.
She would.
And then she come back, she sent it back to me and she said, I'm sorry, I can't do it because he owns 1/32 more than what her kids do.
Hmm.
And he said he would let him do it. And she said, I don't know what's wrong with it.
I just think for our
Just
due
like they said.
diligence, if they try, at least we tried.
Yeah, that's true there. And then the other thing is that adjoining road right there, that is chip and seal. Him and his brother were gonna sign it. That's when Dennis was still alive. And they ended up, neither one of them signed that paper, is what he said. And you guys go ahead, chip and seal that, but they never did have their signature on it. It's not a big deal. Like I said, he's just a stubborn idiot, that's what he is.
Well, wish we could have helped you guys.
And I'm dumb enough to go out there and help him every year.
All right, we have highway reports.
Hey,
Donnie,
You ready, Donnie?
you ready?
Okay. Donnie Leakin, DuBois County Highway Department. First on the agenda, the White Stallion reclamation, the coal mine down in Boone Township. Been down there a couple different times in the last several weeks. And they are working on the wash plant. They're moving a lot of dirt. Hopefully they'll be done in 3 to 4 weeks. And then from there, they're gonna go to 700 West, and that will go all the way out to Portersville West. So me and Levi have an appointment to meet Michael Costello down there on April the 21st. Meet him on site and go over a few things. Like I said, I was down there a couple months ago and talked to them about it, but we just wanna make sure they do it right. We wanna make sure it's wide enough, got the shoulders,
Sure.
ditches, everything else. So,
Agree.
drainage, culverts, everything, so.
And this is the road that was 60 feet wide, give or take, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we're hoping to narrow that down a little.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Thank you for that.
So, and then, part-time help, we have the same two gentlemen that are coming back in. The mower guy actually started today, and sprayer guy will start next Monday.
Okay.
So, the road paint quotes for all the chip seal overlays and the hot mix, we will be getting those in. He sent them out, sent the bids out, so I'll have them for the next meeting.
Okay.
So, the new hire, we have a gentleman retiring this Friday, this is his last day, and we was able to find another one. We had 3 applicants, that's all we had. So luckily we got one. He will start next Monday, the 13th.
Okay.
Let's see. I have the 2025 road prioritization books. One for you,
Thank you so
one
much.
for you,
Thank you.
and then I got one for Chad too, I'll give it to him. And then, annual, operational report. I have that for all of you guys. That's what I sent to you last Thursday. So, if you read through it, and I got them so you guys can sign. So, and then, I got 2 of them to sign, one for our records and one for the auditors.
Good.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Alrighty. Sandy.
And do we need a motion to approve those, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. I move that we approve the annual operational report as presented.
A second.
First and a second, any further discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And that's the top portion.
Oh, here.
Yeah, that's the county.
I'll put mine down for Dawn.
I'll put mine on top, I'll make Chad squeeze it. No.
It's fine. You want Chad to put the date
I
on
don't
it
think he
since he's gonna
necessarily
be the
has to
last
sign
one
it.
to sign?
Do what?
Keep the date open until Chad signs.
Yeah, I
guess okay?
that would be fine.
Well, or does he need to sign this?
I believe he has to sign that, don't he?
We may,
Anyway,
What does it say?
here's the other one, Don.
I mean, he doesn't have to since he wasn't here, I think took absence,
have to put the date on there.
and, yeah.
Okay.
You want to do that? You want to-
You can go ahead, Levi.
Okay, right, whatever.
Morning, Levi Leopard, County Engineer. We'll start off with the 2026 roadway treatment plan. You should have a copy in front of you. This is the master plan for 2026. It consists of the asphalt overlays for geotech applications, chip seal patching, gravel to chip seal conversions, and chip seal overlays. So in total, we will be treating approximately 72.55 miles of roadways. We'll also be utilizing the rubberized crack sealant this year, and then add in the DuraPatch, which is what we have been using for many years. Should have a pretty good plan in front of us. Let's see if you had any questions on that. I would like to ask for the board's consideration for approval of that plan. That includes the community crossing paving projects in there as well. And then the other paving projects are gonna be ones that I plan to put out for bid.
So 650 South is the project this year.
Yes.
No, I see no problem with the plan. Mr. Reeves?
No problem.
Okay, I move that we approve the roadway treatment plan as presented.
Second?
I have a first and second. Any further discussion?
Sir.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
I didn't get your report.
That's this giant piece of paper.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, yeah, Martin. Next item of business is additional appropriations. These appropriations are a combination of the highway fund along with the local road and street. It's gonna be for paint markings, which will be for chip seal overlays, as well as the asphalt roads that will have to come back through and add centerline markings and edge markings. The stone, which is gonna be for the shoulder stone, chip seal overlays, and then all the patches, along with the various stone that's needed to top dress or gravel roads throughout the year. Bituminous material, this is gonna be for the oil for the chip seal overlays, and the oil for the Durapatch, and also the rubberized crack seal. Paving projects, this is gonna be for the in-house paving projects that I will be putting out for bid in the month of April, with a bid opening on May 4th. And then I also have a equipment on there. So the equipment is in the amount of $50,000. We had a pickup truck that the transmission went out on. We weren't planning on purchasing that truck until next year, and our transmission gave out just a little too soon, so we need to purchase a new truck. We're also prioritizing some of the equipment with the chip seal overlay program. We've changed that where we've taken on some additional equipment. And so we're shifting some things around to better suit our overlay program to do what makes the most sense, making sure we're having good efficiency, and make sure we got the right tools for the right job. So those are all the amounts right there summarized, but I did want to point out the $50,000 equipment. We've got the money for all this. We've got enough money left over yet in the green at the end of the year, so we got enough safety net. I feel comfortable with these numbers. Donnie's reviewed them. That I would like to request the board's consideration to go in front of the council to request these funds from our highway fund and the local road and street.
Okay. You just need a consensus for this one, right?
Yes.
Okay, I do support you going to the council with this.
Agree.
Okay, thank you. Next item, I briefly mentioned it, is the proposed paving projects. Those are on the 2026 roadway plan that I presented. I'll be putting those out for bid April, which is this month. We'll do a bid opening at the May 4th Commissioners meeting. That's going to total about 10.13 miles of asphalt roads that are proposed. Next item is Violytics. I sent you some information in previous.
You said May 4th, do you have a time for that? Because I got somebody at 9 o'clock that day.
What time works, 9:30? Time. Otherwise,
9:30, I don't care.
I'll get with you later on, we can set a
Okay, I
time.
was just gonna say we had 9 o'clock already taken.
I'll get with you to set that time. Violytics, this is the software that was discussed previously that the highway department is wanting to incorporate. I sent quite a bit of information out on it previously, we talked about it previously, and then I gave my whole justification on why I feel that it brings a lot of value to the highway department. Initially, we received a quote from Violytics in the amount of $32,000 and some change. I've since negotiated that price down to $30,028.25. They also had a startup cost of $9,000 on there. I got that taken down to $0. They waived that entirely. I feel like it's been negotiated to the point that it can no longer be negotiated. The terms and conditions that Violytics had have been reviewed by our county attorney. Our county attorney met with Violytics legal team, and some revisions were made to those general terms and conditions based on our attorney's comments. The one exception is Violytics was not comfortable with doing a termination of agreement based on convenience. Typically, we have that in our contract saying that if we want to terminate agreement, we can just do it anytime at our convenience. Violetic says because they're putting this much money up front to waive that startup cost, they don't feel comfortable doing that with the amount of money they have up front. I don't foresee any issues with us wanting to get out of that agreement with Violetics. It is for a 3-year term. Other counties are using them. We're not the guinea pig. It's been around. They've been proven. So just want to make sure you're aware of that one exception.
Is Greg, our attorney, aware of that change?
Yes, he is aware. He's the one that brought it up to the board's attention in the previous email correspondence.
Okay.
And he wasn't saying he just wanted to make it. It wasn't either way on it was okay. It's just he wanted to make it aware to the board.
Okay.
Okay.
Are there any questions on that?
No, you pretty well covered with the info that you sent us. Was fantastic, by the way.
And the council did approve the funds for it. Should have mentioned.
Okay, yes,
Did
I
approve.
did see that.
So if there's no questions on it, I would like to bring it up for the board's consideration for a formal vote.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I think it'll help you manage out there very effectively. So
Very
I
much
will
so.
move that we sign the agreement with Violetics for a 3-year term for $30,028.25.
Second,
I have a first and a second. Any further discussion?
sir,
Okay, all in favor say aye.
aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
That's a fantastic program. Oh, I agree. It is a no-brainer. Very much so. Maybe we need a team alone just to do that. And this is gonna eliminate that.
Next item is the 15th Street interlocal agreement. So back in 2023, the county entered into a joint resolution and an interlocal agreement with the city of Jasper for the 15th Street bridge, which is going to be a new construction bridge to be an extension of 15th Street. Since then, that project is no longer on the front burner for the city, and the county desires to free up its pledged funds. I have met with the city attorney and city engineer and mayor to discuss this. And everyone has been in agreement to go ahead and free up those funds with the understanding of continuing to be good partners with each other. But ultimately, the county is responsible for any bridges over 20 foot. That's why we entered into this agreement saying we would be financially responsible for the construction cost of that bridge. But since that bridge has been put on the back burner, it's no longer a priority. They don't know when they would propose to build it. They're going to take the design, put it up on a shelf. It may be several years, it may never get built. So for that reason, we would like to release those funds because right now they are appropriated towards that bridge. So our attorney, county attorney, prepared a resolution, and he is not here today, so I am presenting this on behalf of our county attorney. A resolution was prepared to terminate the agreement. That would be the first item of business, would be to bring that up for consideration. If that were to get approved, the next item would be the actual termination of the agreement, but the resolution would have to get approved first. So I would recommend approval of that resolution.
Sandy, do you have a resolution number?
Number 6, is this the one for the,
Resolution of DuBois County Board of Commissioners approving termination of interlocal agreement.
yes, number 6.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2026, a resolution of the Board of the DuBois County Board of Commissioners approving termination of the interlocal agreement with DuBois County for the extension of 15th Street Bridge.
Second,
Okay, let's see, we've got a first and a second. Any further discussion?
sir,
Okay, all in favor say aye.
aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Takes us right into the next item, which is termination agreement.
Okay.
I would recommend approval of that.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the termination agreement of the interlocal cooperation agreement for the extension of 15th Street Bridge between the city of Jasper and Douglas County.
Second.
First and second, any further discussion?
No, sir.
None heard, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item is an update on Bridge 78. This is located on County Road 600 West and Division Road over Patoka River. That bridge will be closed this Thursday, April 9th, to begin the rehabilitation work consisting of the bridge deck overlay, hydro demo, semi-integral in-bank conversions, and full depth patching. The work is expected to last up to 60 days. I have voiced to the contractor that this is a main road with no good detour around it. So any means and efforts that they can take to reduce the closure time would be great. So based on their preliminary schedule, it does look like they will be able to finish the work in less than 60 days, pending any unforeseen circumstances or weather delays.
Okay.
Just note to the public, this will be a full closure. You will not be able to access through the bridge. That's 24/7, no access through. You will only have access up to the point of closure. County Road 600, which turns into 620 right there at the bridge. That intersection will remain open to traffic. We will have barricades and signs in place, but there will be no official detour in place. So no detour signs, just because there's not a detour around it, and the locals are gonna find their ways to get around it. So again, closing the road April 9th, that is this Thursday. And that is Blankenberger Brothers is the county's contractor that will be performing that work. The next item is Bridge 107 and 240. These were put out as a package bid, and it was awarded to CNR Construction. They plan to start those bridge projects early May. One of them is located on St. Anthony Road North, and the other is located on St. Anthony Road West, just south of Schnellville Road. I will give a 2-week closure notice to the public. Just a heads up, that work will start early May. It's going to be approximately a 4 to 5 week closure. And we did feel it was in the best interest to close them simultaneously. One, in an effort to reduce overall cost, but also reduce overall closure time. So they'll have to, there'll be a road down to the south that they'll be able to get around on, connect you out to the state road. So didn't see any major issues with that. Last bridge update is Bridge 119 on Club Road, located 0.5 miles north of State Road 264. We closed this bridge on Monday, March 30th to begin demolition of the existing concrete deck and steel beams. This week, the bridge crew will be installing the new beams along with the diaphragms and the rebar. Good news is we are ahead of schedule. We plan to have that roadway opened up to traffic in approximately 3 weeks, pending any unforeseen circumstances or weather delays. So a lot of closures going on. It's that time of the year. Bear with us. A lot of work going on. Last item I've got is summer engineering internship. We did extend an offer to 2 engineering intern positions, and both have accepted. So we are looking forward to getting a couple interns in this year. Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Any questions or comments from myself?
Sure.
Thank you, Levi.
Thank you, Levi.
Did you guys get copies of those this time?
These resolutions? Yes, I've got everything for you right here. I'll try to staple this over here. Okay, HSM Insurance Group.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Bob Gore. I'm an independent insurance agent. Chris McBride, he's the owner of
Good
HSM
morning.
Insurance. We've been in many conversations with Marky.
Yeah.
And about bringing in a different product for your employees for benefit purposes. I represent, in this case, Combined Insurance, which is owned by Chubb, which is virtually the largest insurance company in the world. Anyway, we have some products that we'd like to just give you an overview of as to why they would be different from what your employees have now for both a cost saving standpoint and a product coverage improvement standpoint. So better price and better coverage usually makes a happy employee. So we're going to talk about two products that they have in place now with Aflac. I think it's with Aflac, right, Marky? The first one we'll talk about is an accident plan. And what these plans do, whatever major medical coverage that they have, whether it's through what you provide to the county or they have it themselves through a spouse, what these products are intended to do is to give them money to meet the need for whatever deductible or gap insurance that they have to pay out of pocket. So this gives them the money so they don't have to pull that themselves. So an accident plan, what it does is it covers fractures, dislocations, cuts, burns, for kids, bee stings, spider bite, poison ivy, anything. And every time something would happen, there's no limit to usage, you get money paid to you based on what happened to somebody in your family. It's their money to do it. It's not taxable. It's nothing. It's their money to do with what they want, help pay the bill, or use it for other purposes. The difference between the current Aflac offering, which your employees have, and what we can offer through Combined is about a 30% price decrease for them with better coverage. An example would be the Aflac coverage that you guys have in place right now. The highest fracture amount that you could get would be $4,000 for, a broken femur, let's say. This company would pay $6,000, so it's significantly better benefits across the board for fractures, dislocation, cuts, and burns at a lower cost. The other one is more complex, but it's way, way better. The other product we're going to talk about is critical illness with cancer. And when Aflac goes to market on this product, they basically have two different policies. They have one that covers cancer only, and then they have one called specified event, which covers heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, liver failure, all those things. You got to buy both policies to have both of them covered. Combined goes to market with them all in one policy with these additional features. So it covers cancer, heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, liver failure, paralysis from an accident, coma, but they add Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and benign brain tumor and MS, things that aren't covered under the current policy. You can have any mix of your family on the policy. Spouse can have 50%, children can have 25%, but you've got to pay for those people to be on the policy with your Aflac offering. You still would have to pay for the spouse to be on it, but any employee who would have the policy through Combined who has dependent children under 26, they're automatically included on the policy for free at no extra charge to the employee. And it not only covers those dread diseases that are on the policy, but it covers the children for other things like congenital birth defects and even type 1 diabetes. So it really enhances the coverage dramatically for a family situation. They have two additional features built into their policy that don't exist with the current policy now. Let's say one of these things did come your way and you had a chronic situation where you're being rehospitalized for cancer or heart issue or whatever. Combined says, not only would you get your first diagnosis benefit that you elected, but you would also get $1,500 up to twice a year for subsequent hospitalizations for an event that occurred for you. They also have a caveat in their policy that says, regardless of what short-term disability policy you guys may have in place for your employees, this wouldn't conflict with any short-term that they have. But what it says is, if one of these things did come their way and they were missing 5 days or more of work in any given month, they're going to give that employee $500 more a month for up to 6 months just to help them with their expenses as part of the policy, which doesn't exist with the current one. It's guaranteed issued at $30,000, so there's no underwriting issues with the policy. They're going to get it. Both Aflac and Combined and other insurance companies who do these same kind of products Also attach a wellness benefit to the policy. So if you have the policy in place, you should go once a year to your family doc and have a wellness check. Typically with Aflac, it's for the primary employee only, and it's $60 a year. With combined insurance, it's $50 per person on the policy per policy. So if you had a critical illness and an accident plan, you get $100, not 60. And if you had family members on it, they would get coverage as well. If we are fortunate enough to be given the opportunity to help your employees with this, you also get a value-added benefit for all employees, whether they buy anything or not. All they have to do is say they were offered benefits. Yes, I want them. No, I don't. It's up to them. But they would get a $12,000 accidental death and dismemberment life insurance policy for free, coming from you guys, not from me, but an added benefit for all your employees, whether they buy anything or not. So it's really a nice added advantage for your employees. So, in summary, it's better coverage and lower costs.
And compatible with the existing Solaric system.
Yeah, that was a big deal to Mark,
Yes. What's that?
the Solaric system.
Yes, yeah.
So the primary go-to enrollment platform for combined insurance is Solaric. So whatever arrangements there are, do you do any additional feeds in there? Like do you do your core enrollment or your dental and vision?
Everything.
Okay, so all of that would go into the one same enrollment platform. And it wouldn't be any different for you, Mark. That was it. So there wouldn't be any change there. So that's what we have to offer. Any questions?
No questions really. So this would replace our Aflac, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And Marky, did you have anything to share on it?
Not other than we continue to have, issues with Aflac here, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, we sent all of our premiums in Aflac for all the coverages of all the employees. Aflac sends all the money back, rejects all of our payments. So, it's just, we're continuing to have issues with
But
them.
didn't you also have like some of them were on group policies and some of them were individual policies and then screws up the billing and all that?
Yeah.
That was not needed.
Yeah. In a nutshell, we're still having issues there on the administration front with Aflac, but, so these guys have been talking with me for probably
Couple years or so.
well over a year, yeah. So, they wanted to get in front of the commissioners, and I said, we can put you on for a 15-minute slot. You guys can let them know what you have, and we can just go from there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're ready to make any kind of decision today,
No, absolutely not.
Okay. but it looks like a good product.
And we'll take a look at it, a serious look at this.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Something we would do during open enrollment.
Correct, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Anytime you want to do it, but whenever you there's no problem. Everything in
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. We're like
Thank
1
you, Don.
minute ahead, but we can go ahead and take options.
All right.
Morning. Good morning.
Pass a few things out to you guys here that we'll talk through. So we've been talking with Mark. We just want to kind of give you guys an update on how the plan is running. Should I set one for?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you one for you, Sandy.
That's Chad's stack right there.
Just to make sure that's.
Yeah. So we'll go through a few updates here. We'll talk about how the plan is running, and then also we'll kind of talk about, we've been monitoring, obviously, with rolling out the clinic. Got some good data on that, getting good feedback from Marky on that from employees. But basically, what you're looking at this here, you guys, if you remember this is kind of how we lay it out when we're doing a review. So with you guys, your stop loss, it's a November 1st renewal. So keep in mind your benefits run on the calendar year, but we do renew the stop loss 11/1 each year. So basically what we're doing is comparing 11/1 of 24. We're comparing 4 months from the prior plan year through, and then looking at this prior 4 months that we just went through. Just going right along down there, membership, average subscribers, you basically guys sitting about the same, 216 employees on the plan you averaged over those 4 months. Then we get into fixed cost. So remember with your fixed costs, you're talking about your hard dollars. Administrative fees down a little bit from prior plan year. Your specific stop loss, if you remember, we've talked about this a couple of years now, but we were at an $80,000 spec deductible. We talked about, does it make sense to go up to the 100? I know this last year we did move up to that 100, so that's a big reason why your specific stop loss, those rates there are down about 50,000 from last year. Once you get into your aggregate, just keep in mind you guys got your specific coverage. You also got your aggregate coverage, which basically covers everyone and falls into the big bucket. Down a little bit as well on the aggregate. And then total fixed costs, like I said, the hard dollars, you're down about 14% from last year if we're looking at the same time period for that. And then we always like to throw it on there because it's kind of interesting to see the total fixed cost per employee per month. So if you average that out, you guys were running about $388 this previous month or this previous 4 months. That's just on your fixed cost. So keep in mind, once you get into the big dollars, unfortunately, what we've been talking about the past few years with your guys' claims running hot, if you look under the claims file or the claims section there, so those, obviously your trend has gone up a little bit on your medical claims. You're up about 13%. A big reason for that, and I'm not going to pass this out because it does have some information on here. Some good news, what we were able to do, Marky, was really a big key in this. If you guys remember, we rolled out the Samaritan Fund because obviously you guys got some big lasers on your plan, so we really tried to hit the Samaritan Fund, get those people off, on a different option for them, and it's 100% free to them. We were successful in getting one person moved over, which was big because that person was getting a prescription that was running about $29,000 a month. So that would have hit your plan pretty good. We got them moved over to the Samaritan Fund as of January 1st. Like I said, Marky was a big key in that. We also had another person that moved, decided last second they didn't want to do it and actually came back on the plan. So we're almost successful in getting another person over to that as well. A big thing that you'll see why those claims have trended up 13% is outside of those lasers that we have on the plan, we have 2 new people. And I think Marky, since he's been here, I know since we've been working with you guys 4 years now, we have not seen these members pop up. We have 2 new members that have hit the plan, right about $245,000 so far through the first 4 months. And those are brand new. I don't think we've seen any claims on them in the past 4 to 5 years. So unfortunately with those driving up, obviously you do have the specific coverage on them. It's just something we're gonna have to monitor going forward. There could be a possible laser with one of them because it looks like it could be ongoing. It could be a cancer, unfortunate continuation. And then the 5 lasers that we do have on the plan, if you kind of loop everyone together. So we have 8 people here listed on this large claimant report. 8 people responsible for about $580,000 hitting the plan so far through the first 4 months of your stop loss. Like I said, I didn't want to pass this out. Marky can send this one out to you. I think he sends it out to chat, and I know Sandy sees a lot of this stuff as well, but he can send this out with diagnosis on it, amount paid, over your specific amount. But the big thing I wanted to say, unfortunately, we've got those lasers still hitting the plan, but these 2 new large claimants that just came up, it's something that we will need to kind of talk about coming up at this next renewal. I know Marky we've kind of been talking about with that one member that moved over to the Samaritan Fund. I think everything's going good. What we would like to do, if Marky's comfortable with it and this member is comfortable with it, is probably see if we can maybe put some sort of video together or have her sit with some of these possible other ones that could be a good, member for that plan this next upcoming renewal, to see if we can maybe get a couple more of these some of these big lasers and large claimants onto that Samaritan Fund option. So like I said, she would have to want to do that, but I think everything's going well with her. And like I said, it's $0 to them to get that, and you're saving off your plan.
So what's the pushback on that? Do you know? The Samaritan Fund, like why did one of our employees get most of the way through and then pull back?
A lot of outside people are not experts in the field influencing them on a decision that,
Right, okay.
It's unfortunate because.
So just some fear of something different?
Yeah, it's something new, something different, and then you got people saying, well, it's this certain program, you don't want to get involved in that, and that's not the kind of program it is, it's just misinformation. And it's unfortunate because they reached out to me in January with some issues, and those issues they wouldn't have had if they had enrolled in this program. So it's unfortunate the misinformation happened, but
What's the benefit of switching? What's the benefit of?
We pay a one big fee, one-time fee, and then they are covered under that program free.
100% free. So they don't pay premiums, deductibles, they're all covered 100%. So basically how it works is it's 100% voluntary for all members if they want to do it. So basically when we go through this, a lot of times you're targeting some of your larger claimants, obviously, right? So what basically they have to do is they have to sign off on a HIPAA form. They go through basically a clinical trial, clinical diagnosis, where they share all prescriptions they're taking, they share recent EOBs, everything, and then they go through a clinical review with the Samaritan Fund team. The Samaritan Fund team will then put a projection out, say, hey, we're projecting X amount of claims over this next year that would hit your plan. And then they say, hey, they send it to Marky and I, we review and say, hey, is this something we want to take to the, obviously I think we came to you guys, but do we want to take this back to the member and then to move them? So basically you guys put money up front for that, but the amount of money you save on the back end, for instance, it's $55,000 to move a member, but if we have some members that have a $250,000 laser,
Exactly.
we'd rather move them and say, hey, we don't want to take this chance possibly this laser hitting at 250.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the benefit for them, like I said, 100% voluntary, but it's 100% paid for them. And then does in turn help the plan and help members on your plan to keep your rates as low as possible. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, and kind of to piggyback off that too, it's kind of like if you guys remember we rolled out the international pharmacy program. Sometimes those don't take traction until, you got to get a couple people on there
Right.
once they start talking. I know people reach out to Marky all the time about the international. So we got some good utilization on that, which I'm proud of. We can't say that every group we work with. It comes down to communication, and Marky's been great with that. To kind of wrap it up on this page here, on the one that I passed out, just looking at the bottom there, we kind of roll this all up in together. You'll see your medical claims per employee per month, your RX claims per employee per month, and then you get into your net total paid claims. And then very bottom there, total plan cost, you'll see it's up about 10%. Like I said, it's unfortunate with some of these large claimants driving that. I think one of the new claimants we talked about should not be a continuation. It was a surgery, an expensive surgery, but it shouldn't be an ongoing process, which is once again good for the plan and good for members on the plan. And then that last line, this is a big thing that we look at Houchins and our clinical team, actuary team that looks at your total plan cost per employee per month. You'll see, unfortunately, it's up about 9% from the same time period of last year. Before I pass out this clinical analysis for the clinic, do you want me to share on the pharmacy real quick?
Yeah.
So this is something we've been talking about for, I think, 2-3 years now, even when we started working with you guys a few years ago. Was possibly looking at a PBM RFP, meaning go out to RFP for your pharmacy benefit manager. You guys have been with True Scripts for a while. True Scripts is really good. We work with them a lot at Houchins. But with pharmacy now, you'll see, if you're watching TV at night, you see all the dang commercials that come on there. Since we've hired a pharmacist on staff, a big thing that we do and that she runs is we go out to different PBMs. There's about 8 different transparent PBMs that we work with across the country. We would like, if you guys would approve, we would like to go out to RFP for that. Basically what that entails is a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We will get a 12 months claims done from True Scripts, and then we will provide that to these other PBMs. They will run through that. And it's not just hey, we can save you X amount of money. There's stuff that, our pharmacy and clinical team will dive into. Well, how are you handling, not just, everybody talks about rebates, but it gets more into, what are you doing with your specialty, your, patient assistance program, your manufacturing assistance programs, how are those working? So if you guys can give approval for that, we'd love to take it out. And also it's just kind of, you're just kind of, also reviewing True Scripts as well. And a lot of times we can have some negotiating power when True Scripts coming back and saying, hey, we need to tidy up here, do something here. So I think if you,
Yeah, I think it'd be a good thing to do. There's no cost associated with it. It's just, keeping everybody transparent. We may stay with True Scripts. We've been with them several years, but keep everybody honest. We can see what the market space is, especially with pharmacy. That space is changing, especially with all the new legislation up at the State House and Fed level, so with PBMs right now, so I think it'd be a good thing, entertaining.
I agree.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Okay.
I wouldn't either.
We'll start that, and then, I mean, it'll be probably a month or two before we kind of get everything together. And then basically what we'll do is we'll narrow it down, and then we'll probably bring Marky on, and we'll kind of do an interview process with some of those PBMs, and then also we'll talk with True Scripts as well. But I think that thing would be well worth the time. Like Marky said, it doesn't cost you anything. It's always kind of a gut check for your current provider too.
Especially
Yeah.
for so many years.
Yeah. Okay, last thing here, and I'll get out of here. So basically obviously you guys rolled out the clinic. Oh, actually, that's mine. I'm sorry, I wrote the notes on there.
So that's the writing on it.
Obviously you guys rolled out the Deaconess Clinic for January 1st. Proud to share it is getting used quite a bit by employees. I know Marky's gotten a lot of good feedback as well. I know we were happy that we were rolled this out. I know we looked at a few different vendors and different options, and our clinical team kind of dived into this. So basically this is pretty straightforward. Deaconess currently, they don't have like a projection like this. So our actuary team in-house has all this data that we provide, that we get, that we kind of put this here together for us. So basically, if you look at the top, those are the clinic costs. So if you remember, you're paying per employee per month for that clinic. You'll see if you take that times the amount of employees that you have on there, your 2 months of clinic spend is about $18,000. Now, if you look under the claim avoidance, so basically what you guys get with the clinic, it is 100% free to members and employees that go in there. The office visit, lab orders, they can also fill generic RX. You'll see we have that kind of labeled out there, the total. And then obviously you'll see the clinic savings. So basically you're just taking that 35 and then minus that 18, and you look for about the first 2 months of the year, you guys saved about 18,000 with that clinic. I think that's going to go up even more. I'm not sure if Marky shares with you. We get kind of a utilization report from Deaconess each month, and the March one should be coming out here probably next week. But you'll see there, you guys have had in January, there were 58 visits, which is still good on the first month you roll out a new program. February went up to 91 visits. And the big thing that Marky and I were talking about that surprised us is you have a lot of people filling their medications through there, which is good. Yeah, 93 medications were filled in January and 92 meds were filled in February.
Wow.
Once again, this is big on Marky here. He's been great sharing this with employees and getting this pushed. I know during open enrollment, I had 90% of the people I talked to were like, hey, we're happy about this clinic coming out. It's nice. So I think the employees have really benefited from it.
Yeah.
And we've heard good feedback from
Yeah.
it. We really have.
I think with anything new, you're gonna have a few bumps in the road there in January, hey, this and that, but you're gonna have anything new, but overall, it's been very, very positive and,
Very much so.
I know everybody's excited about it. The only complaint is the sign on the front of the
Yeah.
If
Well,
you just get the sign out there,
What is it? Are they don't have
there
one?
isn't, it's
Oh.
empty right now. You're
Oh,
gonna
it's
have
still,
to leave it.
oh, okay.
Okay, to be fair, I went there one time, no sign, no cars in the parking lot. I left because I thought I was at the wrong place and we missed an appointment because of it.
Okay, yeah.
Where did they park? So I guess there's another lot around the back or something.
Yeah, it should be on the side there.
The workers park in the back.
Okay, see, I didn't know that, because I was like, this looks like an abandoned office, so we never even went in.
Yeah.
I was ready to turn
There's a
around too.
carport.
First time.
Yes, and that's where they
That's
park.
where they
So,
go.
yeah, they need to get on that sign.
yeah, I did get a Kinley, actually Thursday or Friday of last week, and she's supposed to be followed up. I told her, I said, that's been the biggest complaint
That
we've had
is
is been that signage issue, and she's supposed to.
If they need a local sign company, I know one I can.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But no, glad to share that. Some good news out of this. I think our plan over these next few months is we're going to be watching with these large claimants coming on. Like I said, if this member that did go to the Samaritan Fund, if they would like to share feedback with other employees that we could share with them and get more traction. Because if one person does it, and obviously it just turns into wildfire if it's going good for them. But then I think with you guys approving, we'll then start that PBM RFP as well. I think I set one up there for Chad.
Yes.
So yeah, okay. I think that's all I have. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, like I said, we'll keep you updated with the PBM, RFP. It'll be a lot of stuff, moving parts going on, but appreciate the time.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you all.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, our next agenda item is in 15 minutes. I do have some discussion items, but I would like to take a short break.
Oh, no, that's fine. Oh, that's
Last year, we did this, it's gonna be a new one this year, that's my copy.
Do we need a number up there before we can do that?
Oh, I'll make it number 7, I guess. She said this, and then I have a note to make a new resolution, which is this.
Okay.
She said that this is like, from the resolution before, and she gave me this. Yeah, I think I
Don't have anything on it. I'm assuming.
So I'll present here.
Okay, that's good. Yes. I know, right? Is he gonna be overloaded when he comes in? Sure.
All right. Bye.
That's wrong. Going inside, it's the higher lawyer. That's wrong. There's not anything less you can follow. And then, you know, follow rules for a judge. This is what, some things you want to make like, they want to argue. Well, they fall for it. So the county and they go along on this.
Are you ready again? All right, you have some surplus items?
Really helps. The healthy purpose has a shaped desk and an old 42-inch TV and screen. To disposed of. There's a dot matrix printer that we used to use in our office that we no longer use since our new financials. That has a jet direct with it. And then, 911 has an ICRI radio patch and an interoperable radio console. I don't think we disposed.
Do we have use for that elsewhere?
No takers?
The two things from 911,
That's
were
what
the
I'm talking
previous stuff and they can't be reused. That means basically, no,
Right.
the Oki printer, it was a continuous feed one, nobody even uses those anymore.
Right.
It's a receipt printer and all, it's not financials.
All right, I move that we dispose of the surplus items.
Second?
Any further discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, then the employee rental vehicle use policy.
I did send out a draft of the policy that I have prepared for, employees to rent vehicles through the enterprise, program. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read over
I
the
did.
policy. What we'll do is I'll remove draft and we'll send it out to all the employees. So we start using the program. They have to contact my office. I have the login to be able to get them one and they have to do it at least 4 days in advance.
Okay.
For them to guarantee they have a vehicle out there. If they do, fly, I can rent at airports. And we can also do large trucks if the highway needs large trucks through enterprise, but you gotta go to Evansville to get it.
Let's hope we don't find ourselves in that situation.
Right.
So you need to reprint, take draft off?
I'm
You
just
need
gonna
to-
take the word draft off if you guys want, but I'd like you to approve it, and I'm gonna say that it's urgent.
Oh, we don't need to come to the office and sign?
No,
Okay.
it doesn't
Okay.
need to be signed. I just need.
Okay.
I would move that we approve the employee rental vehicle use policy as presented.
Second?
Any further discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, last on the discussion is the United Systems software and termination letter.
We will be ending our agreement with United Systems in our financial software because we've switched to Lao. We are fully live now.
Okay,
So I'd like to give them, we paid through September, so I'd just like to give them notice that we will be ending our contract.
okay,
There's not a problem with that in any way, or?
I'm hoping that we get to keep it's our data. We want to keep our data. So we'd like to keep looking at that, but we will not get support anymore if we have any issues or problems because we're not on their system.
okay.
So they were great to work with over the last 30 years, so.
We won't have a problem getting out of that contract.
Is that something Greg needs to review or is,
He has,
okay, so we're good to move on that?
yeah, I just didn't get that signature yet.
Okay, well, I'll
Because
move,
I'm really the one that's terminating it, but I wanted to do like.
Well, I didn't know if there was a date on it that we could terminate if that was gonna be an issue.
I just said terminated effective September 30th, which is, we paid for that,
That's the end
so
of,
that's the end of our
okay.
current contract.
Okay,
yeah, that makes sense.
all right, sounds good.
Okay, I'll move that, we approve the United Systems and Software termination letter.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, that puts us through our discussion items. We're just a couple minutes early
I
for,
do have a few, since Mayor Lunderheide stepped down, I need, a reappointment of Brian Craig, the new mayor.
okay,
Do you need to read that?
we need a motion for that?
Yeah, I guess, so, you guys, Ryan Craig will take over the term beginning April 6, 2026 and expiring December 31st, 2027.
Okay, and that, again, is,
It's to the Du Bois County Emergency Management Advisory Council, which I think the mayor is supposed to.
and the mayor serves on that, that's just a replacement, it's not a, we didn't pick him, let's put it that way. But-
Official appointment?
Yeah, so, I move that we appoint to the Du Bois County EMS, Ryan Craig, Mayor of Jasper.
Second?
Any further discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
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 And then I have one other thing as well
Okay,
on the agenda. Resolution 2026-07 to the board, authorizing the filing of a calendar year 2027 application for grants under section 5311 and 5339 of the Federal Transit Act as amended, and this is for the countywide transportation that you got,
Oh, okay,
right solutions.
okay. Can I see that just so I can read it?
There you go.
I'll bring you these things to warm up.
I think I sent it out to you a while back.
Yeah, I believe I read through it. Okay, make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-07, a resolution authorizing the filing of CY 2027 application for grant under section 5311, 5339 of Federal Transit Act.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. All right, Corinne Whitehead.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What you got, honey?
I have just kind of a,
That's okay.
oh, it's all right. It's all right. I've been biking for a while now. My bike, I'm getting stronger.
There you go.
So this is kind of just a rundown of the agenda, and then I just stuck some stuff in here as well. So it's nice to meet you.
Hey, I'm Cerise.
Nice to meet you,
Pleasure.
Cerise. Nice to meet you.
You too.
This one's for Chad.
Okay.
So,
We've got a stack here for him, so
all right, thank you.
thank you.
And by the way, I'm legally blind, and I'm gonna be reading from my iPad, but you know, I may
It's okay.
deviate from it a little bit.
You can use the desk over there if you like.
Oh, no, this is fine. I can-
Sure?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm good.
That rolls.
Oh, it rolls?
It moves.
I'll be right up there next to you.
Be careful.
It doesn't move.
It does move.
I'll be right up there next to you.
It's all right.
No. So anyway, my name is Corinne Whitehead, and I reside at 4481 West, 750 South, Huntingburg. Born and raised in Huntingburg, lived there my entire life. Super proud, of my heritage, and take great pride in our community. We live within the 2-mile proposed best radius, project. We live within that area, my family and I. Many of my fellow residents, share that deep connection with our land and our pride and our, just our community and what it means to us. We are here today, though, to discuss the need to reevaluate and place appropriate limitations on this BES and AES project. On page 4 of the packet that I gave you, if you don't mind turning to it, AES has continuously put out a statement to their stockholders. I'm not going to read it to you. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by reading it all to you. But in that statement that's been put out since 2022, it has not changed at all. In fact, in particular, in the March 26 statement that they put out, they've said roughly the exact same things. They talk about the lithium-ion batteries and how dangerous they can be. And this is what they're putting out to their stakeholders. They're making their stakeholders, very aware that these are very, very dangerous, things that they are putting in. And I just wanted to speak to you about why this system is not good for us and our community and the county in general. But first and foremost is, and I'm a science teacher by trade, so I'm going to talk to you on the science terms of things. But this system was meant for latitude, like on the Earth, and where we're stationed latitude, latitude-wise. It was, solar projects were meant for our 38th degree parallel on our latitude. But the problem is, it wasn't meant for our climate. Our climate is something, as you guys know, it's called humid subtropical. That is our climate. And what that simply means is that the intense humidity that we get around here is not good for these systems. It allows these systems to become very unstable. And the reason why is because of, like, I'll give you the example. When I go outside in the middle of the summer in my wheelchair, if I come back into the air conditioning, the metal on my wheels is completely wet. And that's because of that humidity. And that's exactly what will take place in these battery systems. Because they're made of metal, they will get, and the humidity rises, they will get wet. And and of course, when that gets wet, you've got metal and you've got all kinds of other things in there. And it's going to create moisture, which creates a fire hazard. And so, that's just one of the many reasons why this system was not meant for this area. Another reason that it's not meant for this area is it's within the Southwest DuBois County School Corporation District. So it is exactly as a crow flies, because you draw the radius around where the system is being put in. And as the crow flies, it's exactly 2 miles from Southridge High School, Southridge Middle School, and Huntingburg Elementary, which has a total student population of 1,761, which, by the way, was when the Constitution was signed. I just found that interesting. But anyway, 1,761 students in that area would be at risk if something were to happen. Not to mention Holland Elementary, which is less than 2 miles from this system, has a population of 240 students. And these are just students. So we have a total population in the Southwest District of 2,001 students, all at risk, all in harm's way, if, God forbid, these batteries, if something were to happen with these batteries. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's not a matter of if something's going to go wrong. It's a matter of when it's going to go wrong. Because if you look at AES and you look at, well, not specifically AES, but I mean, you can look at any of the battery systems out there, they do go wrong. It does go wrong. You can go online, you can find it all. And, it's all there in black and white that these systems do go wrong. And the Huntingburg Regional Airport is another reason that this system is just basically in the wrong place. It's not located in the right place. They want to put it in, but put it in a different place. Because the Huntingburg Airport is exactly 2.3 miles from the best system. And in saying that, so there are a number, I have a son that's going into aviation. And in saying that, he flies quite a bit, and he talks about how the solar panels reflecting off of the sunlight can cause temporary blindness. And he's like, it's like a blind spot in a car, Mom. He said, when you're driving a car and you have that blind spot in your eyes, you can't see it all the time. And he said that makes more of a difficult landing or takeoff even sometimes, but more landing than takeoff. And then, not only that, but it has, believe it or not, these solar panels themselves, they create a radar interference. So when they are trying to communicate with the tower and things like that, and the tower is looking at the plane itself, it could create just a bleak kind of, all of a sudden it's there, all of a sudden it's not. The plane's there, then it's not. And so on the radar, all of a sudden their airplane could disappear, and then they have no way to talk the plane down. And then the next reason is the heat that is being produced by these panels. So these panels will increase the heat around the Huntingburg Airport by about degrees. Not a big deal, right? Except that the way the air flows through the air, it's a constant circulation. And when you have the air difference, Carter has explained this to me, that when the air is different and you have cooler air and hotter air, and then you're trying to land the plane, it makes for a more unstable type of landing. And so he explained that to me as well. And then the last thing in regards to the airport, it's called EMIs. It's electromagnetic interference. And what happens with the electromagnetic interference is that it often causes electromagnetic waves, and it causes a change with how quickly a message can be communicated to the tower and then back to the plane. And so on April the 1st, actually just recently, there was a plane that was experiencing mechanical issues and problems. And they saw the Huntingburg Airport on their radar, and they were like, we've got to land immediately because of these mechanical issues. And lucky for them, they were able to do so. And they're lucky that the airport was there to help, land the plane. And then they, everybody was safe. It all ended up very, very good and very well. It's the system. It's just, I want to use the word incompatible. It's incompatible for, the land use. The land use of putting up this system. There is a place, there's a picture in your packet as well of this area called Short Creek. And Short Creek is actually a part of a floodplain. And in this floodplain, Short Creek, it's short, and so it can't contain a lot of water. And in that area, then, a lot of times you get a lot of flood water. And when you get that flood water, then it takes all of those toxic things that are coming away from the battery system, because it does emit toxic things. It takes it and it pushes it downstream. And so then your water to everywhere else becomes, toxic. So it's just, it's hard. It's a difficult situation. Like I said, it's not about solar energy. It's not about that. It's about this system in the wrong location. Okay, they want to put it in, that's fine. Put it in a different location. Don't put it in our climate type of area. Don't put it near our school. Don't put it near our airport. Don't put it near a floodplain. Don't put it near agriculture land that is still going to be used for farming. We have, we have enough issues with food today and, it being processed and ultra processed and things like that, but don't have toxic chemicals going into it as well. Not to mention the fire hazards that also go along with these things. The fire hazards are unbelievable. They're unreal. You're talking about having to evacuate over probably 150 different homes if this were to take place. And it's because it takes a good while. I know Tracy at the Emergency Management Agency, she is actually my cousin's cousin. And so I've known Tracy and for a while. And, it's just nothing that this county has ever seen in terms of having to put out a fire like this. And because it's not just a simple house fire. It's more than that. You're talking about hydrogen fluoride. You're talking about other toxic smoke that, God forbid, is, the wind's coming from the south and it's pushing towards Jasper. Then you're talking about toxic smoke and you're talking about hydrogen fluoride chemicals being over the town of Jasper as well. So it's not just our area. I mean, you're talking about this stuff moving across the county. And that's why it's not appropriate. It's not good for our land and for our area, for this community and for this county that we are so proud of and take such great pride in. And it's frustrating, to be perfectly honest, that they want to, it's not just about the aesthetic, but it's about the safety and the well-being of the entire community and the entire county for that, sake. It's just, yeah, that's kind of where we're at with it. And so, sorry, I'm scrolling through my notes here. I'm talking off topic here. Yeah, so, we're not against solar, right? So nobody's against solar because solar is a clean energy, but this is not clean energy. This is industrialized infrastructure. What is happening on 750 South is industrialized infrastructure, where they are going to be putting the best system in. That is what it is called. It's industrialized infrastructure. Just last week, I was on spring break, went out, sat on my dock on my lake, and I am legally blind. So, I don't always catch everything visually, but my sense of hearing is heightened. And as I was sitting on my dock on my lake, I heard the strangest thing. I heard beep, 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 beep. And you would hear just down the road, these big machines are moving all of the topsoil, stripping the topsoil off this land. And, that is nothing that you should hear when you live in the country. When you're living in this place, the environment, the beauty that has been out there. And industrial infrastructure does not belong out there. It just doesn't, for a number of the reasons that I have on your packet. So, basically we are asking, we're asking for your help as elected officials, as both of you being elected officials. We're asking for your guidance and for just to help represent us and to make our voices heard and to make sure that something like this just cannot happen in our community for the well-being and the safety of everyone in our community. And like I said, it doesn't just affect us, but if something were to happen with those batteries, it's going to eventually, depending on how the wind is blowing, it's going to affect the county. It really, really will. And we need your leadership. We need your help in making this company realize that incompatible land. Incompatible. It's just not the right place to be putting this stuff. So we ask that you revoke or reconsider or just look at it and take a deeper thought into getting rid of the solar and construction permits along with the BEST project. Just at least carefully consider it and reflect upon it. And, it's just a matter of, I thought about this on the way here. I honestly did. I thought, I can get up there and I can stand there and talk to you guys and tell you all the spiel that I just did. But the bottom line is actions are going to speak louder than words. I cannot, I don't have the authority or I don't have the ability to take action. But as our elected officials who we entrust with our safety and our well-being of the county, you guys can do the action. You can not just sit there and have to listen to me and listen to us and what we have to say, but you are the ones that have the authority to take the action and do something about this and help save Du Bois County and what is happening. It's just like I said, it's not necessarily all aesthetic. It's really, really not. But it's more about the safety and the well-being of 2001 children that are in our district that would have to be evacuated if/when something will happen. So anyway, that's kind of my spiel. That's kind of what I have. I appreciate your time and your consideration. And I really hope you think deeply into this, consider it, and look at the safety and the well-being for our county. Okay, thank you.
Fran.
Thank you.
Did you have any comments?
No, sir, I don't. I've got literature here that I have researched. No.
Okay, next on our agenda, Melanie, are you ready?
I'm short, probably.
Well, you got
I want to
15
thank
minutes. but-
commissioners for taking the time to listen to us. I know you get tired of hearing it, and I know you've heard all about everything. I want to thank Donnie Lincoln for taking the time for the dumpsters in Holland. As far as I know, everything looks good to us. I'd like to talk to you about a lease and get that set up. It's going to be considerably less than what you're paying now. So that will help you and help us.
That'd be great.
Because we don't have any kind of transport system in Holland or our senior citizens and people that don't have trucks and stuff to get out there, any further than the dumpsters. At least in town, we can help out with that. So I really thank you for that because it's been a long haul for you, I'm sure. Can you tell me how the comprehensive study is going?
Are you helping with that? I know
I'm sorry,
Chad's
with
pretty,
the comprehensive study, how's it going? And is there some kind of prediction when it will be done?
I haven't heard that.
I sit on that steering committee, but I don't have a timeline on that yet.
Are they moving along pretty
They're
good?
moving along. He's got things itemized out, but
Yeah, I don't
I'm not the best authority to speak on it.
I just wondered, kind of keeping it in.
Chad would be the guy to talk to on that one.
We kind of meet every other week, and so I think tomorrow's one of our days.
I don't sit on that committee, so.
Because I asked her, I'm concerned about the vet system and what kind of zoning, what kind of help we can get from here on in.
Sure.
I'm sure you're trying to hear that. Also, the Mid-State Quarter, is there been some kind of a study or proposal for the cost to upkeep 231 if it's given to the towns and the county?
From the county standpoint, not.
I mean, are they gonna have some kind of
Our
cost
highway department,
estimate?
has some ideas with, I assume you're working on equipment you might need.
We've not formally reached out to a consultant about a.
Right.
Since they're doing the study, I think we ought to have something in there that tells how much it's gonna cost the county.
Well, we haven't moved forward
That's
with
not
the
the
study.
county, that's the city.
Yeah, the county has not moved forward with the study.
And we haven't done anything with the studies.
But you are gonna be responsible for a section of 231.
If we choose to take it.
If you choose to take it, that's what I'm saying. I think that information would be good if it could be published, so people would know what it's gonna cost. You know how much asphalt costs a foot, bridges, culverts, all of that, the railings, so, and you're gonna have equipment, because there's no way you got enough equipment to do that. So, just wanted to know if there was some kind of a cost estimate, because I think it'd be good to know, and put it out in the public so people would know that live here. And where's it gonna come out of? Local income tax, another road tax?
And we agree with
Yes.
that, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that need to be put in place, a lot of studies to figure that out.
Yeah, I think, starting to advertise that now would be really good for people so that they know what's coming and how much it's gonna cost and where the money's coming from.
Right.
That's just,
There's a lot of conversations to be had.
yeah, and I don't know if they're coming to the forefront. I'd really like to see them come to the forefront, because I'd like to know we have the money to pay for it before we get something.
Understand?
So, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Melanie.
thank you.
Okay. Yep, we are a little ahead of schedule, but is Paula out here?
She emailed me.
Oh, yeah, she's right out here.
Did she come? Okay, I was gonna say, I told her to come just a little early.
Paula, we're ready if you are.
See, sometimes it runs early. It's okay. I'll start by using materials. Need as many as I have, but. And, what a mess. There you go.
Thank you, dear.
There you go.
Thank you.
If you wanna screw them in. Yes, okay. So, good morning. My name is Paula Rashi. See a couple familiar faces. I'm the Executive Director at Crisis Connection. Crisis Connection works to address the needs of those that have been impacted by domestic and sexual violence. And we also work to prevent those crimes from happening in the future. I understand the role of the county commission plays in the safety and health of the residents of DuBois County, and that's why I'm here. I think it's important now than ever that leadership in all the counties that we serve understand the value we bring to the communities that we're supporting. CCI is quietly, Crisis Connection, has quietly been serving DuBois County and 6 surrounding counties for 39 years. Demand for our services remains strong and local partnerships are critical. What began as a volunteer domestic violence hotline has expanded to serve sexual assault victims, and we provide comprehensive services to victims of sexual assault. We're the primary provider in 4 counties, DuBois, Pike, Perry, and Spencer. And we respond upon request in 3 other counties, Martin, Orange, and Crawford. Our services are accessible 24/7 and provided by either a paid staff member or trained advocate or trained volunteer. We provide safety planning, protective order assistance, legal advocacy, support with both criminal and civil court processes. We also provide emergency and transitional housing for domestic violence and sexual assault victims. We provide assistance in safety needs, cameras, phones, locks, window alarms, sometimes assistance with PO boxes. We provided 100 nights of emergency shelter to 15 adults and 23 children from Du Bois County in 2025. We also provided financial assistance to 13 families in Du Bois County, enabling them to transition into safer living situations. And that can be in the form of rental assistance or maybe a couple months of assistance with mortgages as they adjust to single income families. Incidentally, 90% of the funds that we use to pay for housing, safety, transportation, those emergency funds come from our local donations and grants. We're often the first call and the only support victims have. We're a stabilizing factor in the lives of these families. We also are uniquely positioned. We're the only entity in this county that is covered by Indiana code that ensures all communication between our advocates and victims is privileged. And I know it can be confusing because there's a lot of us organizations that have very similar missions, but I do think it's important that as leaders you understand the difference in what we bring as opposed to others. Why are we needed? Demand continues to be strong. In 2025, we served 601 people with domestic violence and sexual assault issues. And I think in the handout that I provided, 239 of those individuals were from Du Bois County. 169 were for domestic violence and 70 were for sexual violence, and 22 individuals we assisted with both domestic violence and sexual assault. We help people evolve from dealing with crisis, providing that crisis response, to using case management and helping them become self-sufficient. We aren't just responding to crisis, we are helping prevent these crimes from happening. We're also very actively engaged in 17 schools in Du Bois County, providing programming, helping students to identify, prevent, and address all forms of abuse. We help these schools comply with state mandates to provide annual programming on personal safety. We, at this time, do not receive any funding from local governments. About 75% this year, 75% of our, I should back up. In 2025, our funding mix was 75% state, federal, and 25 local, meaning local grants, local donations, fundraisers, that sort of thing. In 2026, we've moved to a 70-30 mix. And in 2027, we're gearing up for a 60-40 mix potentially. And I'm sure you've already been involved with discussions and decisions regarding VOCA funding and probably other funds that I'm unaware of. And that's why it's so important that we're making it a priority to ensure that leadership like yourselves understand the impact in that or the value that we bring to the counties we serve. Our budget is roughly $685,000 annually. We employ 9.24 full-time equivalents. So 75% of our budget is salaries. We don't invest in brick and mortar. We rent. We are investing in the people that are serving the people in the counties we serve. I think, the materials I provided you include, just a summary of the services we provide, the victim mix, the number of calls we received from Du Bois County, 972 last year. And those weren't just random calls. Those were calls that resulted in direct service provision. We spent 422 hours working one-on-one with victims from Du Bois County. That was part of the then we had 637 hours and let me go, the school presentations, of the 658 presentations, we provided 388. The other information I provided you is a copy of the letter that we sent out as part of one of our fundraisers, the letter campaign. There's some, there's an agency brochure, and then there's also the leave behind that is used in the school presentations. Our organization pays for the rights to use an evidence-based curriculum in the school system. And at this time, all these services are provided free to the communities we serve. My intent today is just to help the commissioners understand the value we bring to the community and hopefully identify opportunities as you're working through other activities for collaborations in the future and partnerships. So that's just
Appreciate that.
really the purpose of me being here today.
And thank you for doing what you do. Very much appreciated. And to get out to the public just how important this program is. So,
well, thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Paula.
Do you want an extra so I can give it to Chad? He's gonna give us. Yes, sir.
Can I ask a question?
Of her?
Yes, to her.
Sure.
On average, what kind of money per person do you guys help with?
I mean, it depends. There are some people that seek our services that don't need any financial assistance. But then there are some, I think in 13 families in Du Bois County, we spent $9,000 and some dollars on helping them transition. I mean, that's the only number I can pull off the top of my head, but that gives you an idea.
I'm on the town board, Holland, if you want to come talk to us.
Yeah, that would be
I'd
awesome.
like to have a little face-to-face with you.
And that is my goal, is to try
Yeah.
to gain understanding with leadership. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Reese, do you have anything additional this morning?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, I do not. Sandy, did you have anything else?
The only thing is the courthouse closings. We
Okay,
tabled from last time, but I don't know, I haven't heard anything about if we want to put the municipal elections on or not.
okay. And Chad had told me that he is a no on that. I am a no on that as well.
And I'm a no.
Okay,
So I'll have them revise it without that on there, and then we're ready to go.
okay.
Thanks, so.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandy.
All right, and I will open the floor for public comment. As always, it's 3 minutes per person.
Good morning.
How are you
You
guys
sent me
doing?
a text this morning?
I did, yeah, and I'm gonna go over that today. So I know we've had a best-filled morning, so I'll try to keep it short here. Just wanted to present some information that, what was discovered, I guess, since the last time I spoke with you all. It's the annual report AES puts out, is one thing I wanted to go over. So it's, as Corinne mentioned, she talked about it a little bit in her time, but I've got the 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025 annual report. But I do want to go ahead and read, just so it's on record here, what the company is sharing with their stakeholders, with their shareholders. Our battery storage operations involve risk associated with lithium-ion batteries. Lithium-ion batteries can rapidly release the energy they contain by venting, smoking, and flames in a manner that could ignite nearby materials as well as other lithium batteries. While more recent design developments for our storage projects seek to minimize these impacts, these events are inherent risk of our battery storage operations. The hazards described above, along with other safety hazards associated with our operations, can cause significant personal injury or loss of life, severe damage to and destruction of property, plant, and equipment contamination or damage to the environment, and suspension of operations. And they go on to say they can come up in lawsuits because of that. I do believe the company is trying to reduce these impacts, right? They don't want this to happen. We don't want this to happen, obviously, in our community if a project like this were to come. But I think safety's been the theme of today. It's going to be the theme that keeps coming up with discussions of these projects.
is, you know, how did we analyze the safety as a community? Yeah, we don't have necessarily the zoning or the things like that, but what studies were done to protect those in close vicinity of these potential projects, for the schools, for the airport, what testing has been done? And I know that, again, I know AES has done their homework on these batteries, that they're trying to make them better, but they're still being tested out in Arizona. They're not being tested in these areas of human conditions, or at least they weren't every time I've talked to them. So maybe there's some new information. I think that would be great for the county to get. But again, there's a fire happening. Every tracks this about once a month. So 2025, or about once a month, one of these batteries were catching on fire. New York condemned a place for it because the battery system kept catching on fire. I know technology is differing. I know they're trying to make it better. They mentioned at Holland that this is going to be a new enclosure to try to make these things safer. We don't want these in our community. We don't believe that these align with the values of Du Bois County, that there are safety issues, that they don't have these things nailed down, or they wouldn't be catching on fire. Lithium-ion batteries, they're still not great. There's thermal runaway. Can you give me 30 more seconds? All right, I'll wrap it up. And I meant to bring my phone up here and I didn't. But I did want to show you guys the AES has admitted at the Holland Town Council meeting, at public meetings, this isn't the right place for this. I asked a Fluence representative, you know, is this the best place for this? Chad brought it up at the public meeting, or at the tour out at Pike County. What happens if a plane comes down on this battery? And the Fluence individual looked at the floor and looked back up at us and said, yeah, that would be really, really bad. So, you know, this Holland doesn't want this project, Huntingtonburg doesn't want this project. And again, I'm going to keep quoting AES because I don't know what else to do at this point, but they said they haven't been communicating well. They have been making mistakes. If you go to AES Crossline website right now, and I encourage you to do this before the end of the day, and you scroll down on that website, it says that there's millions of dollars of benefit. It says it's going to a community in Arizona. It's not going. So how can we trust them to get these batteries right? I do ask that you guys again, even if it's not a revoke of the project, pause it. Make sure that the studies are done on the soils, on the financial impacts of it, of the safety impacts of it. I don't want this to be what Du Bois County is known for. And God forbid something happen. I don't want this to be what we're making national news for. And I don't think you guys do either. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
John Kaltbacher, Town of Holland. Couple things, we only took about 3 or 4 things out of what I was going to talk to you about. So this Wednesday, we are going to talk about lease, if you can't get that lease to it, what you had prior, so we can kind of review it. But we will be making you guys happy. First thing I want to talk about is zoning, where we're at on this, who's on the committee, when do they meet, and is the public allowed to talk?
As of right now, there is no committee.
So there's no committee. So we're just doing a comprehensive
We're
planning.
doing the comprehensive.
And that's
planning. They brought that topic up, but they have not really formalized anything yet.
Okay, so
We would do the comprehensive plan first anyway.
So we're just marking off months till the moratorium is going to be void. That's my point. We need to get hot on this. Chad mentioned on the interview with Channel 14 News that he would love to see both sides of the argument on this committee, or to talk about it all. I don't think anybody's been reached out. Has anybody? No, nobody's been talked to. So,
I know in the comprehensive plan, they've been talking about trying to get farmers' opinions in that
Yeah.
plan, but that's as far as I.
okay. Like I said, I've said this numerous times. If I can help, I'd be more than happy to help you guys do this planning. You know how I feel about zoning. I'm on the fence. Depends on which way the wind's blowing is where I probably would fall. But it's going to come to a point where Holland's going to have to do relook at zoning again.
so we can safeguard our community. And that's not what should have to happen. Little town of Holland should not have to do that. As far as the best system, great presentation this morning. One thing was left out. Holland also has 2 daycare centers that have 200 kids. One is at the Methodist Church. The other one is at the care right off of 161. The Methodist Church has infants, and then we also have preschool down here at the daycare centers. So those need to be added on to the numbers and to look at it. Evacuation plans for the school. We don't have enough bus drivers right now to do any good for us. So how are we going to evacuate kids from school? That's one of the things that Tammy's going to have to look into. But as us, as leaders, as elected leaders, we need to look at that also and come up with a plan. Because we're not going to have time to get these kids out there. If something happens, and I know that we have AAS either looking or sitting in here with us, and they cannot disagree with that is going to be an issue, getting kids transportation. You're going to let the parents get out there and go pick them up? Man, come on. You got to see what Holland looks like during the day to pick up kids. Lastly, sorry, it's really loud. You want me to walk away? No, you can finish. Lastly is the airport. Yes, we did have an emergency landing at the airport this week. It was a aircraft that was coming, was just flying by at altitude, lost pressurization in his cockpit, had to emergency descent to come into Huntingburg. Fortunately, he was to the northeast of Huntingburg, was able to come in on runway 9. But the issue there is, he was probably had oxygen on board. He was able to put oxygen on and was still able to stay conscious. If he did not have, or he was out, then that aircraft could have went anywhere, depending on if it was autopilot or not. There is a what if, okay? We've also had aircraft that have had issues out the airport. You need to look at that kind of stuff. The overlay, how the airport overlay lays and where the solar is, it's you know how I feel about that. You know, put those metal poles out there. I mean, you know, it's not like trying to land in an open field like it used to be. Mm-hmm. So whether they put them there or whatever, it's a concern. As a pilot, it's a concern. You know, I don't fly as much as I used to, but man, every once in a while it's good to get out there and flap your wings. So thanks for your time, guys. Thank you, John.
I'll let you go ahead. Good morning, I'm Chris Thornton, I'm the district ranger in the Hoosier National Forest, and I'd like to come to commissioner meetings just so you have a face with a name. We're about 7,000 acres in Du Bois County. It's national forest. You know, it's popular for hunting and hiking and things like that. So anything that you do road-wise along a national forest parcel, you know, it's good to just get a hold of us. So brought some contact information. All right. Just wanted to say hi.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Over for Chad. Thanks.
Quick class handout.
Good thing I got this big paper clip.
Hey, Dave, I want to go over a few quick things. I only got a few minutes here. One, I've just handed out 2 papers to you. One is from San Jose State, which did a toxic metal study on the Lost Landing BESS failure. Found heavy, 50,000 pounds of heavy metals in the land and in the ocean around that release. The other one is the County of Monterey Health Department and the County of Santa Cruz Health Services Agency. They did a survey on health effects from the Lost Landing BESS failure, which included 16 different zones, which ran from Monterey to Santa Cruz, and had respondents from all those areas. That's a 42-mile range, not 1,000 feet. real quick, about some things real quick. The EPRI failure rate for BESS systems, as Chad said, is 0.32%. That's based on total solar generation. That total solar generation number includes solar fields that do not have batteries. So it's a bogus number. If I have a 10 megawatt solar field and one battery, that battery field is 100% failure rate. If I have two 10 megawatt solar fields, each having a battery, one battery fails, that's a 50% failure rate. That's what they're doing with that number. And that was according to EPRI, the Electric Power Research Institute. Also, according to EPRI, the mean time to failure for BESS units is in the first 1 to 4 years. Also, in the EPRI database for BESS failures, AES Fluence has had 6 BESS failures since 2019. Excuse me, I've got bronchitis. BESS units are not safe, as mentioned in their own annual report. As far as evacuation is concerned, I've heard it mentioned that they're precautionary. The reason we have precautionary evacuations is because there's a potential for the failure to become catastrophic, and you don't wait for that to happen before you evacuate. And thirdly, something on the County Road 750 South, there's going to be a wreck there with construction traffic. Hopefully not, but there will be, and hopefully it won't be a high school kid that gets killed from this construction. So it's on you. Well, also, your commitment you signed does not match the system that they're putting in out there. You state in your permit that you adopted the Indiana Code 8-1-42. That code specifically states that it's the local authority that permits for solar fields. It specifically states not the state. So look at 8-1-42-6. That's all I got.
Hey, don't get.
I'll be last.
Randy Bartle, I live on 750 South. You know the routine. So, Jackie's mentioned 855. 855 is a code. Indiana could have, this is what people have been telling me, Indiana could have adopted it as law, but it's a code. So if something happens and they go back, you know, there wouldn't be no litigation because of the code. It's not Indiana law. And the other thing, it's very hard to come with a copy of that because if you got paying $65 or something, you get a copy of it. You go online, try to get a copy, it's $65. The second thing is, these are probably, batteries are probably gonna be inspected by Haven Safety, which is a new company that AES came out with in March. You can look it up online. It's owned by AES and AI Fund, which is a Chinese company. All this is owned by the Chinese. Why do we want batteries and solar coming in from China? You know, they can put this, the military guys got more to say about this than I do, but they can put this in all these little communities and then shut the air conditioners off on them, and you got battery fires. I mean, it's hypothetically, but they're gonna be controlling, you know, the AI fund is going to be controlling what these batteries do and don't do. The other thing is, and I went back a second time, went to the assessor's office, and we asked the question is, who's gonna pay property tax? I farm, I have to pay property tax on my combine and tractors and stuff separately. Who's gonna pay property tax? Are they gonna pay property tax on the panels and the batteries? And she couldn't answer the question. That's through the state, I guess. I don't know. That's my right, Paul. She couldn't answer the question. So you guys maybe need to go over there and find out how much taxes we're not going to get. It's another issue. And Mark Messmer's bill is pretty, you know, he puts that bill out there and he advertises what a great thing it is to have. I think he says a carrot or whatever. I can read it to you. But $1 per megawatt hour, and then Chad says he take the funding away from it. Come on now. He's from our community, and he's taking the carrot away from us. It's all right to be able to have it, and then you don't get the money. These companies are ripping the county off. Period. We're not getting the money we're supposed to get. We're not getting any jobs from it, 1.8 jobs. All these contractors out there have got Minnesota plates on them, or Illinois plates, or Kentucky plates. We're not getting anything from that. Why is this stuff here? Forget the safety. The economic part of it's incredibly. Thank you.
Morning, Jared Harris, Little 500 West. Okay, I just want to bring up the financials. That's the whole reason you guys are okay with this. You need to do your research because you're getting screwed. You think you're going to get all this money? You're not. And then this battery, what is this? The second biggest or?
It'll be the second biggest in the state.
If this goes through, it's the second biggest in the state. So, I mean, we live in this happy world where nobody wants to kill anybody anymore. There's a bullseye right there for terrorists. I mean, there's no security, a fence. There's no people gonna be there. If something happens, nobody's gonna be around to do anything anyways. Our fire departments aren't gonna be allowed to do anything, even if they show up there. They're not allowed to enter the facility. I mean, it's basically a dirty bomb. And I wish Chad was here because I wanna ask him, would you be so let's just say, turn a blind eye to this if this was being put next to Jasper School? I don't think so. We know it wouldn't. So that's all I got.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Trina Roundbush. I'm with EDP Renewables and the Duff Solar Project. I cannot speak for AES or their projects or their practices.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, Trina, Trena, Roundbush. I did want to address a couple questions and concerns that were mentioned previously. I do very much appreciate the concern and the advocacy that each of you are investing in your community. I know we try to be as accommodating to those concerns, and I really want to assuage some of those. So there was a concern about glare, especially near airports or flight paths. Solar panels do have anti-glare coating on them. They have less reflectivity than a body of water. I often like to point to the solar facility at the Indianapolis airport. There have been no incidents with pilots complaining about glare or that impacting their daily operations. Similar with, I think, as mentioned earlier, EMI, no impacts there with communication between the planes, the towers, other critical aspects of their job. The FAA itself is one of the numerous local, state, and federal agencies that have a hand in permitting solar projects or renewables projects as a whole. There was a concern brought about heat emanating from facilities. That's simply not realized. There's many projects that do have livestock on site, and you'll see the livestock enjoying the shade under panels. If there is any heat differential in that immediate infrastructure, it's dissipated by the time that it crosses a fence line. So it's not impacting neighboring homes, properties, farm fields, businesses, or airports. The NFPA 855 standards that were referenced, Michelle, one of the members of our team, had forwarded a copy of that to Greg, County Attorney, on November 3rd. I'll re-forward that after this meeting so that you guys have that. I would encourage, as you're putting together an ordinance committee, to either have an industry professional on it or one that can provide consultation to it. What we've seen as I've worked with communities across the state and across the Midwest is well-intentioned requirements in that have unintended consequences. One, for example, is increased setbacks that pushes projects potentially impacting a greater number of neighbors, farm fields, wetlands, woodlands, things like that. So just encourage having somebody that can provide that perspective. Can I have 30 more seconds?
Finish your thought.
Perfect. Gentlemen earlier raised the question of property taxes. Projects are typically responsible for any taxes on the infrastructure that they build. That is their property, and they would be responsible for that, as well as any increased property tax on the real property, the land under the panels. And that's often addressed through the lease agreements with those particular landowners. In Indiana, ag land is assessed roughly $2,000 an acre. The state legislature did put in provisions that ag used for solar is now evaluated at a higher assessed value. In this part of the state, just shy of $8,000 per acre, so it's already multiple fold. And then I know at least with us and our landowners, we're covering that gap. So the landowner doesn't have a burden, and you guys actually come out ahead rather than short. The state funding bill, I'll end on this one. Legislature a couple years ago did put in that formula for calculating incentives for communities that met the state recommendations. So setbacks, height restrictions, things like that. Works out on about a 100 megawatt project to be just over $1 million to the community. The state, although they did put that formula in place, they did not provide a funding mechanism. So that is a continued conversation with your legislators on how do we help incentivize communities that are welcoming of these projects and empower you guys with additional funds. And then also happy to show or share our local spending as we've constructed the Duff project. We track that within a 50-mile radius and can break that down on the different industries that are impacted. So happy to answer any other questions that you guys might have. I'll stick around if you guys have additional questions. Thank you.
My name's Amanda Souders Harris, and I live on 500 West. And to her statement that she made on the Indianapolis runways at the airport, their runway runs north-south. Our Huntingburg Airport runway runs east-west. Solar panels face east-west, not north-south. So so that comparing it to the Indianapolis airport, there should be no comparison. Stating the livestock in the fenced-in areas are in these areas under solar panels. We were told by AES at the Holland meeting that if there was an accident and someone went through the fence into these solar panels, that no one is allowed to go in there until first responders or first an AES person has to come and shut the power off. Because if anyone goes in there, they will get electrocuted. So if we have any of these kids, students, and I am strong about this because I used to work at Southwest School Corporation, and I've had to do the, if there's an intruder drills, and what these elementary kids go through, they're scared to death. So you're trying to get these kids out. We don't have enough bus drivers. We don't have enough buses. Some of these buses run 3 routes. We're not gonna get these kids out. My kids used to go to the Huntingburg daycare, or the Holland daycare, I'm sorry. And when there is a fire, they put all the infants in cribs to wheel them out. How are we going to evacuate infants from these daycares and toddlers and all these kids when they can't even go outside, let alone all these school-age kids? But back to this, what I was talking about with the accident, there are several kids that take the old Huntingburg Road 750 to and from school every day.
Last week.
Yes, there was a wreck last week, a student. And something is gonna happen. My son one of them is newly licensed and about got T-boned on 750 from a piece of equipment going out into the middle of the road, out of a field, because this contractor wasn't watching.
Which they've done.
Yes, multiple times. I about got T-boned, I about T-boned somebody coming out onto a hill. I mean, I agree, I don't care with zoning, a person can do what they want on their land, but when it affects the people around them, that's where I have an issue. Because it doesn't just affect our property value, it affects our safety and our health if something happens. And the only people benefiting from this is the people that sign this lease. And they could just walk, and they can walk away and move away. Who's gonna wanna move to DuBois County? Because if I could sell my house, I would sell it and leave. That's how much it is. It's not about what it looks like, it's about the safety. And the students that move away and go to college, do you think they're gonna wanna come back here if we have this? I mean, I don't know, it's, something bad is going to happen. Thank you.
Nice try, Can you share that with me?
I'll tell you what.
It's gonna be changing.
I can figure out how to turn the volume down.
Can I say one more thing? I had like time left over I didn't use. I'll just say it from here.
Yes.
You guys are permitting authority, not the Department of Homeland Security, not the state. It's in the 8-1-42. You guys are the permitting authority. So you are responsible for whatever happens from this project. As long as they get it. That's my last word on this.
Anyone else?
My name's Dwayne Keck. I live on 400 West. We're up here talking about the battery storage system since they're lithium batteries. People have been putting lithium batteries in their campers, catching fire. You listen to electric cars, they catch fire. The firemen can put them out. They have to sit there until it goes out. If these batteries catch fire and I have a stepson that lived in California and there was a battery fire out there and it took 2 to 3 weeks before it was burnt out. What I want to know is if we have a fire here and I have to evacuate and I'm gone away from my home for 2 to 3 weeks, who's paying for my housing? Is that going to be up on me? I didn't want them here, but I'm going to be the result, have to pay for my own place to stay until this clears up. And what's it going to be like once I come back? That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Dwayne. Got any more?
Good morning.
Good morning. For the record, Bill Kaiser, 212 West 6th Street. I am a proponent of countywide zoning. I think that if our county does move forward after our comprehensive plan to adopt countywide zoning, we avoid, the difficulties or tragedies when we have circumstances where people aren't expecting things to happen and property owners can do what they want with their property. That's part of not having zoning, but with countywide zoning, we are knowing some more predictability about the things that will happen in the future with the development outside of our cities and puts less pressure on our communities to have these kinds of issues. What I am here to speak about just briefly though is some good news about the state's corridor. A couple of things. One is that as this tier 2 study is moving forward, there are 2 alternatives that are being reviewed right now. One to identify that Lot Miller Group is working on reducing the impact of those on the buildings, outbuildings, and residences that are in the path. So it looks like they are going to achieve some reductions in the possible homes and other buildings, farm buildings that are in the path. It was good news, and I just wanted to share that in public at some point when that gets completed. The second thing is I wanted to share with you, I know that we're all concerned about, and it was mentioned here this morning, people coming back to our communities, back to Indiana. And there was a recent study, statement out by the Indianapolis Business Journal about people moving back and what we need to do to help that. The second thing is there is also some research I'm going to share about air emissions and the positive impact of moving vehicles out of our downtown communities into other areas so that we don't have increased mortality issues with respect to air emissions. So I just want to share that with you so that you could read that at your leisure. But it's pretty clear that when you have less congestion, yeah, absolutely. When you have less congestion on your communities, you have less exhaust. And you can see it's a summary. These research is somewhat difficult to follow. It's done by people who are a lot smarter than myself, who've done the things, but that vehicle traffic is a primary driver of urban air pollution, and our air quality will be improved with fewer vehicles, which will lead to measurable public health benefits. And it is also interesting to note that it's just not the number of vehicles, it's the congestion. So a lot of times we have some severe congestion. That congestion exacerbates our air pollution problems. So the Mid-States Corridor itself is expected to move trucks and traffic that have been reported to you before, outside of our downtown areas onto the corridor, which will improve the air quality in our county. So I just wanted to pass on that good news. I appreciate your time. If there's any questions, we're happy to help.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got any more?
I got a question.
Okay.
What kind of maybe it's for her, protections these
You
landowners?
might state your name.
Oh, yes, sir, sorry. Resident Hunter. What kind of protection do the landowners have when these companies go bankrupt and they come back and it's been going on in the East Coast and these other places, they come back and they offer them 20 cents on the dollar and stuff, and they're in a bind because they either have to take these lower offers or they get stuck with these solar panels and it's their mess to take care of. So what kind of company is this that's doing this? Is this a utility company? Is this LLC where they can get out of this liability? That kind of thing. Is the question I have.
I am not certain. I don't know if the landowners have an agreement with them, but
I'm happy to answer this. First and foremost, the majority of the capital expense for the projects is up front. So the companies themselves, the developers, the owners, the operators, like EDP, have great incentive to keep them operational and keep them performing at a high level. That's how we're making our money back, right? Should a project be abandoned or the developer decide not to continue with it, they have the option to decommission. There's all sorts of legal agreements they may have to unwind through that. They can also sell the asset, which is not atypical in the energy space, right? Or in, I guess, any business, right? A manufacturer will sell to a different owner. That asset is highly desired. So most likely a buyer would come in and continue to operate it at that high level. Should none of those play out, should abandonment occur, there are decommissioning agreements both in the land leases and with the county. Du Bois entered into one with us that provides a bond that covers the estimated cost of decommissioning the project, and it's trued up every so often to make sure that the county has those funds to call upon if they need to, and the landowners have those funds to call upon should they need to hire somebody to fully decommission the site. So it never winds up on the taxpayers' back or landowners' back. So
I think what he's asking though is if the bus were to catch on fire, there would be pollutants in the adjacent property owners that didn't sign up for the project. How are they being protected?
I would direct that one to AES of how they handle that particular site.
What if it's not AES? What if AES goes bankrupt, sells out to another company? What's they're doing now? And the next company comes in and goes bankrupt. and they have to go back to these landowners. Who's gonna take care of this one? Chad's told us himself, these bonds are worthless if they put in the future. You guys heard him tell us that a long time ago. You know, they say they got bonds and this is gonna take care of it.
We are holding bonds.
The county would be named on that
We
bond.
are holding bonds.
Yeah.
We have some, we have
Yeah.
them over there.
Yeah, I understand that, but Chad mentioned the one day that the bonds, if they go bankrupt, stuff, they're just worthless. It's not worth investment. I'm pretty sure it's what told us.
I don't know about that.
Maybe I'm wrong on that. I thought that's what he said.
Yeah, the funds are there and the county is named.
We're
They're
naming,
supposed to
yeah,
run
we're
it
more
for that
than
specific purpose.
And there's bonds for the roadways, but then there's the decommissioning fund.
We have both.
So the decommissioning fund is.
And they just re-upped the one, I mean, they have to re-up them.
Look for the roads.
All right, do I have any more public speakers?
I have a legal question.
Oh, I'll hold on just a minute. Any more public speakers? None? Okay. Your question real quick.
Real quick. Is a Crossline, is it a public company or is it a utility company?
I'll let AES describe.
Yeah, I'm not certain. I can answer that question.
Pretty sure they're LLC.
I mean, AES is a utility company.
You have a Crossline LLC.
All right, if that's the end of public comment, I'm gonna close the meeting. Anyone else? Okay, meeting's closed. Thank you.
Yeah.